Tinella, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, James?
Hey, David. How's it going today?
Hey, it's going all right, man. It's going all right. And yourself?
So far, so good. You know, I just been here hanging out with the family. I put some wood to burn, and we were eating marshmallows out in the backyard. So, you know, all in all, you know, it's been a good day off. You know, just enjoying it here. The weather's kind of cold, and it looks like it's gonna rain out here. So, you know, just been staying indoors today.
Damn, I was out on the yard, just you know, running away from the gang members and dodging snowballs with razor blades, and you know.
Running from the lynch mob?
Yeah, Jesse, I had to drag him in because he was passed out somewhere by the handball court. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, our day's all right. No. Yeah, but you know.
Can you hear me, James?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. Yes. So we're live, James. We're good to go.
Yeah. We already as soon as the phone started ringing, I went ahead and hit the live button. As a matter of fact, I was running over from the living room because I was anticipating your phone call. But, you know, I'm over here, you know, living life on the edge over here. So as soon as I heard the phone ringing, I ran over here to the room and picked it up and hit the live button.
That's cool. No, so, yeah, we had a good conversation yesterday, and it's under the tablet just. Yeah, no, we had a good conversation yesterday, so we wanted to make sure that we continued it so that we didn't leave nothing out, you know. The subject of relationships, it's important because there's a lot of stigma that's involved with, you know, prison-related relationships. There's people here that, you know, they've met their spouses, their partners, significant other on a website. You know, there's the right of prisoners. There's who knows, you know. There's people that I've met through, like, you know, through cell phones and stuff like that. And it varies, you know. And then there's like there's relationships that were established out in society, like you know, my wife and I. So
there's relationships where people actually met people in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be awkward to say cellies, but we'll say neighbors. Yeah, you know, but yeah, there is, you know, and so it's a dynamic, man. It's crazy, you know, and it keeps shifting. It keeps shifting in here. And the crazy part is that if there's somebody, if they were to bring the women, right, like, you know how they say the people who change their genders, or they're I don't want to say that would probably politically incorrect, changing their gender. I would say the people who are discovering what they really are, I guess that would be the proper way to say it.
Who are finally being identified as who they identify themselves.
Yeah, and because I don't want to alienate anybody, any of the viewers or anything, so I'm trying to be as straightforward as possible with that, you know. And the thing is, so there's people, though, that are in prison as men that have transitioned into women.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They're moving them over there to the women's facilities, and guess what? They will turn into lesbians immediately.
Hey,
you know, and that's gotta be, go ahead.
I got this question for you. Maybe you guys could shed some insight on this and on what your opinion on this would be. So let's say there was a bona fide killer, a GP4 killer.
Okay.
All right, and then
okay.
He one day he wakes up and he feels like he's not a man anymore. You know, he wants to transition over to a woman, and somehow he's able to, you know, get transferred over to Chowchilla. All right, and then
yes,
you know, after being there before he gets his family jewels cut off, he's like, man, nah, I'm a man. You know, what was I thinking? Send me back to GP. What do you think?
Well, there's done. There's not. He's not gonna. Well, the thing is, they're not gonna let him back on GP. You know, for one, and he's. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's pretty much done with that. You know.
It would,
Yeah, once
it,
it's up, it's up.
when,
There's no going back.
hey,
Yeah.
let me ask you. So does the 72-hour rule apply to Chowchilla too, or is that just like for
Bad yards.
Would that be considered a bad yard?
Let me tell you about the 72-hour rule.
Yeah.
The 72-hour rule is insane.
It's all subjective.
It's all subjective. Now, the fact of the matter is, right, if you walk onto a yard and the yard's all bad, nobody who's actually dedicated to that lifestyle, I know I wouldn't have, and I've actually, I mean, I took the tier hostage with a fire extinguisher to get out of somewhere. You know, I went balls to the walls, and it's just, you don't stay in places like that. So if somebody goes there to that yard, they're done. They're not, even if they somehow maneuver in a political maneuver, that stigma is always going to hang with them. Like, damn, that dude stayed on that yard for that long. You know, there's always going to be something in the back that's going to those skeletons are going to reach up and grab him one of these days. Either he's going to lock it up or, you know.
I think if that dude's in the middle of a life crisis like that, an identity crisis, where he's trying to go over to a female's prison, he got bigger fish to fry than worried about going back to a general population.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you this though. That would be the kind of situation that came up if I was the shot caller. I would be, no, I'm serious. That like shit followed me, man. You know, there was a time where that happened. Where I was on a mesa. I was on a mesa in Central. There was, you know, all them dudes were in the back. You know, there was gang leaders in the back, and I was in charge of one of the units there. I was in charge of a drone. You know, I was a small portion of the mesa. You know, it was ran by a member, and there was, you know, but I had a seat at the table, and there was intake, and I seen them bring in a guy with long hair. This is GP. We're doing that shit. You know, they brought in a dude with long hair. He had that sway to him. You know, like he was throwing them hips from side to side. You know, he was really selling that shit. You know, and he walked in, but I'll give him that. He walked in that unit, and they put him in the cell with a homie. And the dude was a youngster. The dude had, you know, he's a bald little homie. He was a youngster, and they put him in there with him. And they, you know, that dude was
married 10 minutes later.
He was married 10 minutes later. No, but the thing is that, okay, so I'm not, as a macero, I'm not trained for that situation. You know, I have to make a call on the fly. You know, I have to do what I got to do, and I have to make sure, because that can't happen. You know, in that lifestyle, that's unacceptable. You know, and so I know that, you know, the kid's not going to stay in there, but the kid, I mean, it was fast. Like, you know, there's fishing lines and stuff. That kid hit me a kite fast. And he said that, and I respected the kite. The kite said the dude knows, the dude is not a PC. The dude is obviously gay, but the dude is not a piece of shit, and the dude is willing to get whatever he's got to get coming, because he's not going to walk on no PC yard. And he knows, you know, that he's putting the youngster in a bad jam right there, and they wanted my advice. And that's even worse is a freaking
now the responsibility's on you.
The responsibility
versus whatever feels right to that youngster.
Exactly. And the kids worried, because this dude that walked in, he's got swayed hips and stuff like that, but this dude's got some pretty big knuckles. This dude, you know, this dude is a man that's, you know, or it's a woman in a man's body or whatever, you know, it is, but this is a man's body here. This kid is young. This kid's gonna get fucked up. I've seen these dudes got hands. Some of these dudes, they can squabble. So I had to make
a lot of them have been fighting their whole life, with that identity crisis.
So what I did is I called the officer. I came and said, hey, let me holler at you. You know, and the officer came over. They knew who I was. It was no secret at that time. That's like why us dumbasses got validated and got pulled off the lines during those times, because I was like, hey, check it out. What the fuck are you doing? You guys are gonna get this fucking kid in a serious wreck, man. That dude can't stay in there. Then the officer tried to like flex up. And he's like, well, you don't run shit here, we run shit. And I was like, all right, well, look, man, if that's your position, then that's what it is. That can't happen, you know. But I also, like, that's kind of tricky for me, because I would hate to be in a situation where they would be like, well, how did you let that motherfucker walk out of here without hose, you know? And I made a decision. I said, hey, do me a favor, get that dude out of there. That dude can't be in there with him, with that kid. And the officers, they called somebody over, because they're like, oh, who's this motherfucker getting at me? You know, he was just somebody doing transportation or whatever, you know, like just bringing the guys from R&R. So they brought the other dudes. I knew what time it was, and I just told them, look, man, you guys are wrecking that kid. If you guys want to put him somewhere, go put him in one of these other cells, put him by himself, do whatever, and we'll figure it out there. But right now, why are you gonna wreck this kid? You guys know that can't happen.
and not even just in the kid, like looking at it now from a different perspective from where we are today, look back and think about it like, what about that other dude?
No, and I thought about that. Like that dude walked in there. He walked in there like a man woman.
Yeah, like a man woman letting his nuts hang harder than some of them so-called gangsters.
Yes, he wouldn't, and he knows what it is. Like everybody knows what that is. He's not. And the crazy part is the dude was Mexican. That I've never personally seen a gay Mexican out in the open like that on one of them yards. They were off the yards, you know. And on the lower levels, yeah, but I had never seen anything like that before, so that was a tricky situation. But did he find love? Because we are talking about relationships. I guess I got to leave that. I'm just saying.
When I was talking about finding love in custody, I was talking about the county jail where they got men and women. I don't know what the hell was going on in Chino.
Did he find love, James? No, but
this hypothetical, I'm not sure.
Yeah, hypothetical. I'm gonna let that hang in the. You know, Flaco goes by Flaca now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, but that's not. No, but that's not. This is the thing, though. So they understood what it was. And they understood that I was going to have to make a decision from that point on, and it was going to be a violent decision. That's obvious. It's nothing. I said, look, I don't want this dude to get hurt. This dude had some balls walking in here. They got at me like they were supposed to get at me. The kid didn't know. And one thing I learned in this world is asking questions can save your ass sometimes. You know, and that kid asked a question. I don't know what the fuck to do. This dude's not a piece of shit. This dude's what it is. And just because he's gay, if you come in here like and you handle your business and you got that certain aura about you, that's that gangster, we all kind of respected it. Like, hey, this dude was gay as hell. This dude was actually like,
yeah, his sexual preference doesn't speak to nothing about where his heart stands.
Yeah, this dude had balls. You know, this dude had balls. And what I liked about this situation though is that the officers understood what it was. They moved him out. We were on a lockdown during that time, so we wouldn't have been able to like really run that dude down. It was really controlled movement and stuff like that. But they moved him out to another unit, and I don't know if they put him in PC. I never asked, you know. And that was the kind of situations that crossed my path. You know, you have to make those decisions at that time, and I could have gotten in trouble for that. You know,
letting him walk off
the tier.
But in their defense, in your defense as well, at one point in time, they weren't up. There was no problem. They made a decision in the early 90s to mid 90s to just get all them off the yard because it was causing problems, you know, amongst people. But other than that, there was a lot of them dudes that done time before that were like, hey, I mean, like, I'm not no fucking rat. I'm not no this. I'm not no that.
Yeah, why do I got to be with those dudes?
Yeah, why do I got to be with these cats? You know, because they had the same perception of this side that we had before we came over here. Like, oh, that's where all the trash is. That's where this. You know what I'm saying? So they just made it an administrative decision to tell all them, hey, you guys can't. They didn't beat them off the yard. They didn't do nothing crazy. They just told them, hey, you guys can't be here with us. That's just, you know, it's not. You know, a lot of them were family members of people who were somebody.
Yeah, that dude threw his head from side to side, snapped his freaking finger, and said, "Baby, I was born this way." You know? Yeah.
The version of that story that I heard is the dude got at him and Dave ended up moving him over to his cell.
I was like, well, look, I need to sell you.
Yeah. He's like, hey, youngster, this is above your pay grade. Tell Triggerfoot to come on through.
Yeah. Yeah, come on over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Figure this stuff out together.
Yeah. I don't know how to maneuver this right here, but I'd feel a lot better if you were closer to me.
Hey,
but you know what? I heard it from a third party, so who knows? You know, my version may not be accurate.
Jesse's information is spotty at best sometimes, Jimmy.
Yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But the good thing though, where I got lucky in this situation is it was never brought up again. I never heard. I thought I was missing something. I never heard anything.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
It was I don't want to say it was a dead issue. It was just something that everybody just kind of let it lie. They seen what it was, and thank God I didn't have nobody that was gunning for my spot. Well, there was always somebody gunning for your spot, but they even left that alone, you know. And yeah. So we'll give you a call back, James. You know what I mean? I'm gonna act like there's more to the story.
All right.
between here and there, I'm gonna tell David's boyfriend he has to move out.
See, yep. My wife is probably listening too, so Jesse's in trouble.
Yeah, David's wife's already accepted that I'm the other person, but she's not going to tolerate another one.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna call back.
All right, then we'll be here. We'll be waiting. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So today's topic, they're going to be talking about prison relationships, and as you can see, it's definitely taking some turns that we were not, or at least I wasn't expecting. But I guess I brought that upon myself once I started asking about hypotheticals about if a male inmate or prisoner ended up deciding that he no longer identified as a male, ended up in a women's prison, which is an actual fact right now that's actually happening in California prisons. It's not a laughing matter. But if that male inmate decided to not want to be at a Chowchilla anymore, if he wanted to go to the main line, would that be acceptable? And from what they said, then it absolutely not. Once they step foot on that women's prison, that was it. Their so-called prison career would be over.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Big old bomb.
Hello?
Oh, it looks like sno. Yeah. All right, James. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So the crazy part, though. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell another crazy story that happened when I was in charge in that same spot, right? Because there's a lot of people that come and go right there, and you can't always they trust when they give you a position like that you're going to funnel everything you got to funnel and you got to do what you got to do, But there's things that come up that you're going to have to do with, And another one was and this dude was a cool little homie, Jess, and James, this dude was cool, and he was there, but he had HIV, he was dying, and he was sent there. He was sent there because they were going to send him to another unit called Del Norte, and Del Norte was on East Yard, and that's where they had all the HIV patients and the AIDS patients. I don't think they had nobody with AIDS there because AIDS is, by the time you have AIDS, you're done. If you go to full blown AIDS, yeah, you're done. But yeah, they're going to be you're going to be in a medical facility. So they had HIV. But remember, these are the years where HIV was not it wasn't very manageable. This is when you got it, you were like, damn, I'm dead. This is in the early 2000s. So he writes me a kite. I get another kite, and he tells me, look, I'm so and so. I'm from this barrio. He goes, I need your advice, and I could see it. He's like, I need your advice. He goes, I'm here. I have HIV. I don't know how much longer I have to live, but they're sending me. They want to send me to Del Norte, and I know that yard is not good. There was a time limit to get off that yard, and Del Norte, I don't know what the situation. It was like a medical unit over there, but there other units that were there were the ones that we were used to people going to, and then they just get off and they get out of there. And he asked me, he goes, "What do you think I should do?" And I was honest with him, man. I said, "Look, man, in my political position, you got to get out of that yard." But I said, if it was me personally and I was in your situation, I would be like, fuck what I have to say. You know what I'm saying?
I'm at the end of my rope. I'm going to make the best of it.
Yeah, and I told him that. I told him, why are you concerned about what I got to say about this? You know what it is. There's a policy on the yard. There's no, I'm going to go to this, I'm going to go hang out in this PC yard, to get medical treatment. That's a cutthroat business right there. But there's also, you have to be able to advise accordingly because these are the guys that are lined up with you, And I just told him, yeah, what I have to say politically is you can't be there. But personally, if it was me, I would be like, man, fuck what you got to say. I'm gone. I'm gonna just. But I told him, look, whatever you do when they pull your ticket, to go, there's nothing pending. There's nothing where homies, get him before his ticket gets full because you have an opportunity to go there and do what you got to do. So I told him, hey, whatever happens to you after that, buena suerte, good luck on your journey. And yeah, I never saw him again, but yeah, they ended up pulling his ticket over there. And those are just things that you have to kind of like, you got to kind of navigate, you know. It's like, fuck, what are you going to advise them? Lock it up? Well, that's not going to look good on my resume. You know, I already got a kid that's, you know, got a transsexual as a wife
in the cell.
In the cell.
Yeah, you already got one training marriage under your belt.
Yeah, he's holding on to my kite when I try to get the guy to my cell.
Yeah, yeah. Got a kite and David
I got
hey, tell old boy, you know, I got soups and shit.
Yeah, I got the kid blackmailing me.
got this little youngster blackmailing you, like, hey, we'll send the soups over here and we'll call it even.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you your kite back and you send me some soups and coffee.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's just it's what it is, man. But yeah, relationships.
Yeah, relationship. Right. Before we got too far buck wild on Chino and the craziness that is Chino, and Dave's absolutely right. Chino's a madhouse. In every sense of the word. I mean, anybody that's ever done time there, anybody that knows anything about the prison system, could tell you that, you know, it's an old, you know, when you see prison movies, what you envision is San Quentin Chino prison.
Yep, the way it looks, 3 tiers. I've described it to the viewers before, man. It's 3 tiers, stacked high. When there was no safety rails, there was a safety rail, but it was like not the cage that goes from floor to ceiling.
Right.
It was just like a little rail, you know, and I used to be on the 3rd tier looking down, and I would think, damn, you know, like,
that's a long fall.
It would be fucked up to get thrown off this tier, you know, and you know that it's happened.
Yeah,
I was trying to picture like where the bodies hit and stuff like that, you know, because I could be morbid like that sometimes. I was like, damn, this place is nuts.
So check it out then. Let's bring this back to relationships, right? Because I kind of want to try to run through some of these questions to kind of try to stay on topic. What we're going to try to do moving forward is hopefully establish topics. I know Dave and I, you know, we tend to get off in some rants sometimes, and we can be a little bit all over the place here and there because, you know, it's just our character, it's our personality.
I blame ICEMAN personally.
Yeah, ICEMAN.
In the 49ers. Yeah.
Dave's a little disgruntled right now, so he's he's hoping he sees somebody in Chino.
Mm.
Yeah, because the whole situation with the Rams yesterday, he's feeling some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get his ass whooped the way Cowboys got their ass whooped would have been one thing, but to lose by a point, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
That was rough.
But yeah, it was you know. So what I want to do is what we're going to try to do is establish topics weekly for those who do, you know, check in, you know, on Friday or Wednesday, Sundays, because we're here. It happens to be Monday today, you know. And so we want to pick topics and try to line some questions up, and hopefully eventually we can generate enough buzz that maybe the listeners will have questions pertaining to the topics. You know, we'd like to announce the topic ahead of time, and you know, the improvisation may be a thing, you know, but we're gonna try to stay on
improvisation. Improvising, no, improvising. I like improvisation though. It's like a
come on, you know, we got the prison dictionary.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew the moment you said it that it was greatness.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, why is it so hot in here? Am I tripping?
No, it's pretty hot in the cell. I don't know. Our cell's hot. Jesse's gonna fall out right now.
I think it's the chile in the suit. Anyways, so what we're gonna try to do is pick topics and have questions, and hopefully it aligns with the topic at hand. So next week, if we make it through, next week we plan on discussing parenting in prison.
Yep.
So what I want to try to do is hopefully keep the topic pretty linear today, so that we can run through some of these questions. A lot of them kind of have overlap each other, you know, so we may not have to get through all of them, but
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So the question that I had asked you yesterday is, what kind of qualities did you look for in a partner? And you were pretty
I was pretty straightforward about it. You know, I described my wife to a T.
Yeah.
Everything that beautiful woman is what I was looking for in a wife.
By the time you were done, I was like, I don't have a chance. When you were done explaining all that, I was like, yeah, there's no chance. There's not a quality in that list that I can hold on to.
Yeah, it was over, Jess. It was over the moment you asked.
Yep. And so, but anyways, so I wanted to answer the same question, you know, and that's kind of what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to ping pong the questions back and forth, because Dave and I are two different individuals, and for the most part, a lot of our, you know, personality, a lot of our character is similar. but not necessarily our perspective on certain issues, certain topics. So, and that's why we set the questions, because a lot of the stuff will come down, but he may be able to articulate in a way that I can't.
I think a lot of that possibly is because I had opportunity. I went home before. Like I was out during those times, so I had a little bit of opportunity to grow, and I didn't do much with. I squandered, those opportunities with drugs and whatnot. But I do know what it's like to meet the love of my life out there and not even realize it. I didn't know that. I didn't know when I met her that she was going to be my wife one day, but I knew that something was different. I knew it immediately. It was almost like I'm telling you, man, it was fireworks, and there's nothing like it in the world.
Like some imprinting shit.
Imprinted, yeah. It's like some Twilight shit. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, new moon.
Yeah.
I new mooned my wife.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So and that's cool though. I mean, it's a great story. I know you guys have a great thing going on, and I admire it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But so with that being said, right? What qualities do you look for in a partner, Jess? I want to hear your opinion on it.
Well,
for me.
Wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought you were asking me, but then I was gonna ask you to repeat the question because that question straight went over my head. But Jesse got it, so we'll go ahead and hand over the mic to Jesse.
I need to get a shock collar for you, James. I need to get something installed, like get you one of them gamer chairs, that'll just shock you into,
But be ready though, because we're coming.
No, because we're gonna ask you too.
You're just as much a part of this conversation.
You're a part of this. You're not gonna be just the man in the chair forever.
Right. This topic is essentially to give people a perspective into the minds of, a relationship in prison. But relationships, nonetheless, it's still a relationship topic. Yep. So you could chime in, because truth be told, I know I can learn from you, and I can learn from anybody really, because like Dave said yesterday, like what do I really know about what a healthy relationship looks like? What do I know about what a real what a relationship looks like? Given the fact that most of my relationship has been, most of my life has been locked up.
Yeah.
So healthy relationships and things of that nature has never been something high on my priority list. But today, as the person I am today,
yep.
Living the life that I live today in recovery, just trying to live a life of integrity, and knowing that I'm going to be a free man soon, that what I look for in a woman is first of all, is personality. Like they have to have like a funny, like a big sense of humor, because I'm a big joker. I don't take life very serious. I rise to the occasion when it's necessary. But I like to clown around. I talk a lot of crap. I don't like people that are all sensitive and things like that. I don't have a filter a lot of the times, and I can't deal with, and I also know how to be able to try to read the room sometimes. But okay, this is not a time to play with.
We have a dark sense of humor, and the woman for us understands that.
Right.
Like I'll say something, and my wife, she'll look at it, but good thing is my wife, she's fluent in gibberish. Yeah, she understands, she's like, oh, I get what you're saying. All right.
Right.
And that,
And 100%. He's absolutely right. And there, I haven't met very many females that had my kind of sense of humor, but I have though. I've had women in my life that can handle my sense of humor and have the same kind of sense of humor as me, and so that's one thing that's critical for me, especially today, while I'm trying to live healthy, while I'm understanding myself, while I'm trying to empathize with other people and care for how other people feel when I'm not just walking through life selfishly. So I want to have somebody who understands my sense of humor so that we can vibe together. I'm not tiptoeing around landmines, because part of my personality is never going to change. My character's changed, absolutely, because I'm a better person today, but my personality isn't going to change. I'm a joker. I talk shit, and I need somebody that's the same way, because I need somebody to be able to liven me up, not just the life of the party, So definitely sense of humor, being driven. I love a woman that's driven, because, as much as I was, about the BS before, when I did it, I was...
Three-way call alert.
They got us.
The same thing. They got us, right?
All right.
It's it's the same thing today. You know, everything I do, I try to do the best of my ability, and I genuinely believe I'm destined for success. You know, I'm not simple-minded. I don't think small. You know, and so I want a woman who can accentuate my dreams and my goals, and who has her own. You know, like I need a woman that's driven, that's intelligent, that's smart, one that knows how to communicate. You know, I need a woman that has respect and understands. You know, like I have a strong personality. I'm an alpha male, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. But also too, like Dave said yesterday, I don't want some woman that I could run over. I don't want some woman that I could run over, because that's not appealing to me. But also too, I need a woman to understand, like, hey, this is what it is. You know, like because today I wholeheartedly try to understand, and I try to compromise, and I try to communicate to the best of my ability and process my emotions and understand where they're coming from. But sometimes there's just times where it's like, nah, you know what, check this out. This is.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Go ahead, Jess. We got a little time, Jess.
Yeah, and that's not too much to handle, you know. So definitely a certain level of submission, but without losing their independence. You know, I'm not looking for somebody that I can run over. You know. Let's see, what else? What would be other strong qualities? You want to call back?
Yeah, I'm gonna call back, James.
All right. We'll be here waiting. All right, and I want to go ahead and I see that Gyro Lab just showed up. Righteous Monkey, ICEMAN, Amy. So you know, we got quite a few of you in here. LA Analyst, and I'm just going down the list. You know, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and coming in day after day, hour after hour, listening to these gentlemen share their thoughts and their journeys and their stories and their sense of humor. Because these two guys, they're definitely on the funny side. They are they got really good.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez,
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We're back. Yeah. So basically, what I want a big quality, a big characteristic for me that a woman has to possess is intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Like, this to me, like, that's one of the most appealing things about a female is her mind. You know, like if she's smart, if she's witty, and just like intelligence, like there's something about that. Like I've even seen like women that I'm not attracted to, but I listen to them communicate, and I'm like, it's like I'm drawn to them. You know, like I don't say it's like sexual or anything like that, but it's just like, damn, she's bad food, like that's tight. You know what I mean? Like, and so imagine how much more if you have a woman like that, that's beautiful, that you're physically attracted to, that you have feelings for, and then she also captures your mind that way. Like.
So you just turned like this super chick into Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. Hey, I do like Melissa McCarthy though. She's hella funny. All right. Big draws right there.
Yep. All right.
Big draws.
All right. Back to serious.
But yeah. So like I said, intelligence, communication. She has to have respect for herself, me, and everything else. Definitely got to be a freak. Got to be a freak. I'm not a big fan of chicks that be fronting. It's just something that, it's like, come on, man, knock it off. We're all grown-ups, But anyways, and also, too, I somebody who understands that I'm a work in progress. Like I'm not even going to sit here and try to, begin to try to say that I got anything figured out, because I'm just now starting to understand and starting to figure things out. So definitely patience. Patience is absolutely necessary, because I'm just starting to come to understand, and I know that's probably a lot to ask for, given the fact that, like I've been in here, my whole life, and it's like you can't expect people to understand what you understand, especially if you don't even understand yourself completely, But so I think that's a character.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
No, that's good. Okay, now let me ask you this, though, right? Those are most of it's reasonable. Like I didn't really hear anything that was not reasonable. You know, I was a little taken aback when you were describing Melissa McCarthy to a T, but it's not like the thing is, right? Okay, so what are the few qualities though that? What are the few qualities though? What are the ones that you just cannot? You will not accept a relationship, any meaningful relationship, without. I'm talking about like I want to say big five, but let's say big three. What are your big three?
I think without devotion, you know, like commitment. Without that, like I'm a needy ass dude. That's the reality, you know. I'm a needy ass dude. I'll be straight up. I'll keep that shit 100. You know what I mean? And I think I am that way because now I've come to a place like I'm okay with being vulnerable. I'm okay with things like that. So I'm more than willing to give a female what I expect of them. You know, that's just the reality. So I'm needy, you know. And so if there's no commitment or no devotion, it's kind of a deal breaker for me, you know, because that's just part of me. I'm one of them dudes that I'm needy, you know. I always needed people's attention, you know, in the previous life. So how much more do I need my significant other's attention now? Yeah. You know, that's one of them. That's one. Yeah. That's one. And like I said, a sense of humor.
Sense of humor. Okay. Has to be. Cannot be a dry. Just a.
Yeah. You know? I can't deal with dry people. It's just not for me. Now, don't get me wrong. Like the Seinfeld dry sense of humor, The Office dry sense of humor. That's my shit right there.
But that's a sense of humor, though.
Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about just a straight, just.
Yeah, like people
robot,
that are all
you know?
serious, and their version of things that they think are funny is like, really, you know. But I'm sure people think the same thing about the stuff that I think is funny, you know. So I'm not knocking anybody, but just for me, if I don't feel that connection and on a sense of humor, you know.
I think that I would probably like for that there has to be tests. You have to see like, okay, well, what is it, right? I understand not everybody likes Family Guy. Like I refer to Family Guy a lot because it makes me laugh, man. It's a funny ass show, you know. So I think that. The old episodes or something like that. Okay, so we'll sit your you know, we'll sit her down, Jess. We'll put on an episode of Family Guy, and if she doesn't laugh one time, she's out.
She's out for sure.
You know, and then let's say for emergency, let's say okay, well she doesn't like because there's a lot of like religious jokes and stuff like that. All right, so let's say okay, well she's offended by the show. Okay, so I understand that. So we're gonna put on Eddie Murphy's Raw.
That's old school shit.
That's some old school shit. You know, and I look, I don't. Not everything he said was funny, but Eddie Murphy's pretty funny. Like, I don't remember Raw. I remember some parts of it, and even the previews made me laugh.
Yeah.
I just what he walked out wearing made me laugh. That dude was hilarious. So, you know, I have to see, like, all right, well, there's something on there that's going to make this chick laugh.
Yeah, and
if she doesn't laugh, she's out. I can't sign off on this relationship.
Yeah, she got to go.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing, because honestly, like how we play in here, like, Dave and I, we're too confident, man. We're confident who we are. Like, and in prison, people sex play a lot. They make a lot of gay jokes. They make a lot of, because it's nothing. It's like, okay, you know, like, and some people out there can't handle that. You know, like, it's like they see two men, like, making sexual innuendos at each other, and it's like, oh, you know, like, it puts people, I'm assuming, I don't know, because I know that I've had people say stuff to me, people in my family, like, oh, why do you play like that? What do you mean why do I play like that? It's just prison humor.
Yeah, we make light of.
Yeah, you know? Like I'll make comments like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to pay old boy for the cookie wheel, so I'm going to end up having to do sexual favors to make it right. And it's a joke because the reality is ain't nobody.
The Snicker bar.
Yeah, the Snicker bar. The Snicker bar, man. And so we got like we got a pretty raw sense of humor, you know what I mean? Because it's like just don't talk about my mom and everything else is on the table.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, James, do you know about the Snicker bar? Because I need to. We are talking about relationships, so that's one of them. Did Javi explain to you about the Snicker bar?
Yeah. So if I get to prison and somebody puts a Snicker bar, I better hurry up and eat it because somebody's gonna come and grab it and then I'll be asked out.
No.
Is that what Javi told you?
That what he told you? Hey, I'm gonna say I was gonna say my God, but that's more like a my goodness. Yeah, my goodness. Hey, no. No, James, that's not. Don't eat the Snicker bar. If you eat the Snicker bar, James, in prison, you owe.
Yeah, and if you see the Snicker bar, you run in the other direction.
And you ain't gonna be owing money.
You're not built for this. Remember, we've already come to that.
Yeah, no wonder why you didn't make it in County on. You went right for the Snicker bar.
Yeah.
So somebody put it on your pillow, and you were like, "Thanks, guys."
Yeah. James came from out from underneath his bunk, had chocolate all over his face.
Man, these guys are so nice, and then you just had a big old dude in the shower waiting for you. No, that's the no. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Look, if I was locked up like somewhere like out east, like in I would say, let me see, like Atlanta, Georgia, or maybe Florida, yeah, and I'm definitely gonna be touching the Snicker bar. It's gonna be all bad, but I definitely know about the Snicker bar trick.
The thing is okay, so when we first come to prison and we're in reception, right? Like Jesse's always heard about the story, right? Because we talk about it a lot. There's a guy here that looks like the guy in the Snicker bar video, and I always say like that's him, like he was the guy who did the Snicker bar thing. But no, the Snicker bar. Okay, they show there's a big stigma about prison rape. There's a big stigma. It's you always hear about it. You always hear like, oh, don't drop the soap and whatnot, right? Me personally, I've never seen it. I've been in prison for freaking, I've been in and out of the system, and I've been in the prison system for over 2 decades, and I've never seen it happen. I've heard stories, about people that were actually, willingly doing that shit, but I've actually heard stories. We all heard about Bubba and, Big Bubba and stuff like that. We joke about that stuff. We make light of it, but,
make light of it till Bubba's chasing us down.
Yeah, and we always joke about it, and I tell people, look, man, I'm bougie, man. I don't drop the soap, I drop the body wash. But that's the thing, right? So the fact of the matter is, though, is that the system, though, CDCR takes it very seriously. So they created, it's called PREA. PREA stands for, it's an acronym, it stands for the Prison Rape Elimination Act. And it's a system that they've implemented up and down the state, and they're saying, look, if there's people that are getting at you, or they're like trying to encourage you to like do sexual stuff, and if you're raped or anything like that, like you can ask for help. They got numbers. You can call them on the tablet, and they'll call you and be like, hey man, I'd be like, hey, Jesse's tripping, hey, Jesse's tripping. Somebody help me. This guy's freaking going bonkers right now with this thing, and boom, they're gonna come and they're gonna take that seriously. But that was that was just an example, Jesse's not tripping with this thing, but. Anyway, so that's all over the place, but I've never actually like seen it happen. But when you come into reception, they have these TVs that are. I told you about the meat locker, but you walk in and everybody's stripped out. And you're walking around, and it's crazy because they're nuts to bust. That's the term, because they want you that close to somebody where basically your junk is touching the backside of somebody else, and it's a humiliating experience when you walk around into the reception center before you get your clothes and stuff. They want to strip you out, and you start with nothing. You don't even have the clothes on your back when you come into prison. They take all that, and you start fresh, with nothing. And that's when you start acquiring stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get too off topic, but they got these TVs that are over the counters, and everybody's sitting in these holding cells waiting to get housed, and they're playing these videos, and they're PREA videos. And there's a guy there, and he looks like I've never even seen somebody look more like a victim in my life than this guy. This guy is the definition of a victim, man. He gets on there. He's a white guy. He's all skinny. He's wearing a white shirt with some blue Levi's, and he's sitting on the staircase, and there's like a prison tier behind him. And his first thing, he looks all sad, and he's like, I was raped in prison, and boom, he goes into this big old freaking spiel, right? And it's crazy how he does it. And then they show like little clips, right, of how it happens. And they show this white guy walk in, he walks into a housing unit, and they're like, don't accept anything from anybody else. That right there can get you raped. So there's this guy walks in his cell, and he sees a Snicker bar in his pillow. And he's like, he knows, they're like, don't accept a Snicker bar. If you owe somebody, you know that you're going to owe something to that person. And, and it's not going to be money. So the guy, they make a big old scene of him walking over there, grabbing the Snicker bar off the pillow, getting upset. He shrugs his shoulders like, like, damn them, and he walks out to the middle of the day room, and he looks around. He's like, I don't want.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
he puts the Snicker bar up in the air and he waves it around. I'm not accepting this, and he puts it down on the thing and on the bench. He puts it down on the bench, and then there's a bunch of like, and it's funny because they're like Mexicans, like they're like homies, you know, they're like gang members. They're all playing pinochle, and everybody freezes. They all look up at him like, damn, he didn't take the bait, and then they go back to doing what they're doing, and they're like, you know, this guy avoided being raped today because he didn't take the Snicker bar. Like that's the gist of the video. So we always joke about the Snicker bar, like, hey man, don't eat that Snicker bar, don't get nothing from anybody, you know. But that's not how it works in here.
Yeah, they're trying to give the impression that anybody that does anything for you isn't doing it with a pure heart in prison. There is real life crazy shit going on in prison, but they're trying to put an extra fear factor into people coming into prison, you know. And I wish it would have worked, you know, for me and everybody else along the way, because who knows, if we feared prison, maybe I wouldn't have made half the horrible decisions that I did in prison.
And that's the problem with even with the relationship topic. Okay, that's the problem with people finding love in prison. Is there's this huge stigma attached to it. There's a huge stigma attached. Now you asked Jesse. You heard all the qualities that he.
Hold on real quick. One quality I forgot to mention.
You have the third quality. What's the third one?
No, for me that's critical is because I have mother issues. I'll be the first to admit that I have mother issues, which is part of the reason why I never respected women from the get-go. You know, I know. We know each other's story better than most. And so for me, if I don't think that my spouse, my partner, my mate, whatever you want to call it, has solid and sound mother characteristics, like it's a deal breaker for me. Like it's a trip, you know what I mean? Because it's just something like that's, for me, that's such a turn on. When I look at a female and I'm like, oh man, she, you know, just seeing the way she navigates, you know, like, and the things she says and how she navigates around the house or around the kitchen or just doing things that mothers would be doing. I know she has to have a loving, kind heart in a way that I know that she'd be able to nurture a child, to put her child before me or anybody else. Those kind of things for me.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
In the criminal lifestyle, I've seen so many women that weren't worth the shit as mothers, you know, and I was, you know, I had a mother who wasn't worth the shit as a mother. So I definitely, one of the main characteristics for me is she would have to make a great mother.
That was deep right there. I want that to sit in, because that is serious. That does affect you.
Yeah.
That's a serious thing.
And we may never know until there's actually a kid in the equation, but you can tell if someone possesses the qualities that would make them a good, loving mother, attentive mother, nurturing mother, you know.
All right, James, we'll give you a call back.
All right, perfect. I'll be here. I'll be waiting. All right, so I, you know what, Jesse and David, I think they've been, I want to say at least since April, I would believe. I think that's when, if I recall correctly, when David ended up getting transferred over from his previous prison over to Centinela. So you know they've been sealed up for quite some time. But even before that, they knew each other from. I think they first had come in contact with each other back in juvenile hall in Riverside County, and you know, they bumped into each other, you know, throughout the years, either whether it was on the street or in the old Riverside County jail, and then eventually, you know, meeting up in prison. So there is, you know, people like that, you know.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez,
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I got a question here.
Sir.
We got a question from R, and let me go ahead and put it up. Bring it up on my screen here, and I'll go ahead and read that off to you guys right now. And let me see here. So R, let me see. Oops. Just bear with me a moment here. I should have been ready by the time.
Is that R, aka Ramon?
That is correct. Yeah, that is R, aka Ramon.
Okay. Thank you for listening.
All right. So R is asking. How is a woman affected by having their partner in jail for years and taking care of the kids by herself and standing loyal? Do you think Do you think she's still going to have the same future you're looking for? I think looking at the cutoff, so the F. So I'm assuming he put 4.
The thing is that's really, it's a good question.
Great question.
Yeah, it's not a bad question, and
it actually encompasses some of the questions that we had on
the
paper.
and the thing is, look, I'm not out there in that, looking in, but I've talked to my wife about these things, and she said that it's hard. It's not, it's hard because technically the woman out there is a single mother, or she's living a single life. She doesn't have her partner there all the time. So, my wife has to take care of things. She has to take care of things just like if she was on her own, and that sucks to hear. As the man and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is I understand when she tells me, she's like, look, I'm basically living my life as a single mom right now, as far as the provider. She's a sole provider, and it's very, very difficult. And there's other ways to provide, but none of them are legal. We can't provide for our families legally from prison. Can't do it. They don't pay us enough. I would love to send my wife my check, but if I was to send her my $35 that's cut in half from restitution, she's just gonna look at me like, man, like it cost me more money to drive to the post office
to cash it.
And that's the thing that's crazy, man. And it's very, very difficult on them. And the women who actually, they find themselves in this situation, man. These are strong women, man. There's some groupies and stuff like that, that hang on to, okay, well, this guy's, he's doing this and he's got this status and he's a gang leader, he's got a reputation of notoriety, there's the chicks that go with the serial killers and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is if they're staying true to what a relationship is, what's a relationship? It's monogamy, right? I mean, there's relationships that are open and whatnot, but me, I'm not built like that. I couldn't picture my wife with anybody else, And it's not happening, And so the fact of the matter is, there's women who do this, but they're out there messing around. There is the physical aspect of it. That's important in a relationship. And I think about it like, damn, I know guys that been here a long time. Jesse can't get his family visit because of a distribution and whatnot. He doesn't have that privilege.
And I masked that. Let me take responsibility for that. Yeah. I tried to fulfill my obligation as a father and a spouse from prison, and I justified criminal activity. I justified distributing narcotics when I was supposed to be here paying the price for my crime, for murdering an innocent man. And I was dealing drugs in prison. I justified the shenanigans in my criminal thinking and my criminal beliefs, like, oh, well, I have to take care of my kids. I have to take care of my family. I have to do what I have to do. But that's all BS that we tell ourselves, because really at the end of the day, even those spouses, like you said, those people out there, they don't want us doing that stuff. They want us doing the right thing and getting out of prison. And it's crazy because I never understood that before. I felt like, well, it's my responsibility. I'm a man. I have to take care of mine. I have to do this. I have to do that. But that was all BS. That was just something to feed my own ego and to justify my shenanigans.
Yeah, like my wife is not, she's not acclimated to this lifestyle. Yeah, she's married to a person that's incarcerated, but she's not,
scum of the earth.
She's not a, I call her ruca sometimes, just joking around, but my girl's not, she's not around prison. She's not around, she doesn't have relationships with people in prison. She hasn't in the past. We were together out there. I never involved my wife with the things that I was doing out there. It was something that I kept separate. But she was completely separated from the things that I was doing. So this was all new to her. She did her homework. She's trolled the sites, listening to some of the lingo and stuff like that, But this is a learning experience. She is an outsider of this life. So she's a very, very strong person, a very amazing person, and there's amazing women, man, that stand by their dudes. There's some chicks though that make a lot of money off guys in prison. Yeah. That's what they do. They're like,
they
look,
reap the benefits of our occupation.
I've known some dudes that were like, look, man, I want to stop bringing shit in. But my girl said no, and she's got her friends that are looking to bring shit in with other dudes because they're making a ton of money.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So it all depends on one's perspective, really, you know, to answer that question. What are they in it for?
So I think to answer R's question, it's basically the women who are doing this time, they have to play the part of a mother and a father. Just keep that in mind. We all know we can only assume how hard it is to be a mother. Imagine being a mother and a father. You know, imagine what it's like. People, it's hard out there in the real world. You know what I mean? To pay bills, to stay afloat, to do what you have to do. And not only are they taking care of the kids or taking care of the family, but they're also taking care of another child in prison, essentially, because that's kind of what, you know, we're another responsibility to them. You know, so he asked the question, what's it like for these women that are doing time? How do, you know, that have to, you know, bear the responsibility of their spouse being in prison? And I think, do we still see them as having the same goals? When they say that the other woman is the better half, truly, because I don't think any dude would be able to do this kind of time and hold down his old lady in prison the way women hold down guys in prison. You know, like, they put their lives on hold. They you know, they sacrifice so much. Everything about this relationship is an inconvenience based on the fact you have to go stand out there in line for hours. You got to get patted down, touched on, you know, violated. You're getting disrespected by some badmouth cop. You know, just dealing with so much. You know what I mean? So as far as like, do you know? But again, too, like how you said, some of them, you know, some of them, they're not. This is what they do, right? But there are a lot of women out there that have goals. And he asked, do we see us building something moving forward? You know, like, do we have the same goals? Wasn't that the end of the question that cut off?
Yeah, well,
he said something about, could you still see
Yeah, and the thing is, if that's where he was going with that, I absolutely do. I envision a future with my wife out there in society. I don't see nothing else in front of me. I know what it is, you know, and it's difficult because, you know, I want to have the things that a husband has with his wife. I want to have a house. I want to, you know, get some dirt bikes. I want to get some Sea-Doos. I want to, you know, I want to establish my life and provide for my family. And I think that my wife has helped me reinforce those goals, those dreams, and those aspirations, and help shape it. You know, I stopped the things that I was doing for her. You know, I didn't have an issue, you know, before. I didn't see what I was doing. I didn't have an issue hurting people in prison. I saw nothing wrong with me bringing in drugs. I saw nothing wrong with, you know, gang activity. I mean, even though I knew certain aspects of it were wrong, but that's what I knew. That was my comfort zone. That wasn't something that I would have knowingly changed, or I wouldn't have done it, except
without
for the right,
without
her as a motivating factor. I'm just being honest with you. There's a lot of things I wanted to do throughout the years, but I didn't have that shining light that was like, look, dude, you're gonna lose this. Those fireworks, they're gonna go out, man. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall to the ground.
And I can agree with you because I had spoken to that before, right? In that sense. But if I'm 100% honest, I'm coming to a place in my life, and you know that we've talked about this over the last few months. That like it's a slippery slope. That where when you're in a prison relationship, sometimes your identities and your objectives and your visions and everything, they start to blur together. You know, like the autonomy, it kind of starts, the lines of autonomy start to blur. You know, and so me personally, with that, like I'm at a place in my life where I'm trying to completely understand myself. I'm trying to build, like, who would I be without somebody else? I need to know that I'm self-sustainable. I need to be okay because I'm getting ready to go out there to a world, and I can't base my existence on a relationship, you know. And it's hard because, you know, we're in here, like, you want that human interaction, you want that connection, you want that, but at the same time, it's like, because, you know, just because of the dynamic of this relationship, you know, you grow to need somebody, you know, because we can't provide for ourselves in here. You know, we're lucky if we make $30 a month, $40 a month. So you grow to need somebody, and if you don't have that family support, and you don't have, you know, you want that emotional connection, stuff like that, relationships can become unhealthy, you know. And so for me, I'm getting to a place where it's like I want to be able to know that I'm fully self-sustainable, whether it's mentally and emotionally, whether it's financially. You know, I'm all for developing goals and growing together with my significant other in our goals and our dreams and our vision, but I need to know that I can stand on my own 2 feet regardless, you know? And so that for me that's what it is, and that's where I'm at in my life today. Like I need to know that I have some autonomy and that I'm going to be able to do me, because the world, there's no guarantees that any relationship will ever work.
Yeah,
whether it's in here or out there.
She told me, she goes, look, man, that I really gave it some thought. My wife, I gave it some thought. I had to, like, I'm thinking about marrying, like, I love you, and I'm thinking about marrying you, and you're doing 40 years in prison with a life sentence. You have that kickstand. This is a serious decision that I have to make. And my wife chose me. And so I honor that commitment by that type of love right there. It shook me to the core, James. I'm telling you, man, it was something that blew my mind so much that it made me reevaluate who I was as a person, what I was doing, who I was doing it to, and it just shook me to the core. And I've never been the same again. And that's just being honest with you.
Well, usually when you transition, it's kind of hard to go back, so I get it.
Can't un-S a D.
So are you trying to tell us something, Dave?
Hey. No, but it's just, man.
Hey, James, it sounded like you had something to say a minute ago. I know we kind of cut you off and went on a little rant.
Yeah, what you got going on, James?
You wanted to add to the conversation?
Yeah. So a little bell too. You get a little buzzer and all that. Go ahead.
So actually, no, there's a question. So you know how you guys were talking about the restitution and sending your half of your restitution, out that way. Amy wants to know if I may ask individually, how much was your restitution? And that question would be for both of you guys.
Mine was $18,000. I owe $18,000. Well, I've only paid off $3,000. Matter of fact, I got this thing out right here. I'm gonna look for it real quick. I'm gonna let Jesse answer that while I grab this paper real quick.
Mine was 10. That's it? Yeah, mine was 10, and they reserved the right to order more restitution.
Okay. And
I got mine now.
And when this restitution gets paid off, it was mostly when people were putting money on your books, right? Like the money, the funds didn't actually come from you, right?
Yeah, no, they do come from us, but they only come from us like pennies on the dollar. For instance, right? I started with a $10,000 restitution fine with a fine, right? Then I had to pay $8,000 on top of that, so that's already $18,000. And out of that and then I picked up an in-house case, which was a court case, the one for the in-house kidnapping, and I got ordered to pay $300 more. So I had a total of $18,300.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have 60 seconds remaining.
I currently owe on the big restitution, the $18,000. I owe $14,448.18 plus the other $300 for the other for the in-house case. I'm gonna call back, James.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So their 15 minutes was coming to an end, so they should be calling us back shortly. And definitely good questions here on the chat. And I'll go ahead and try to get through these questions as fast as I can. But it's not these answers are definitely not going to be one word answers. They're definitely going to get into the conversations about these questions that you guys are sending their way. But you know what? Another thing I was just thinking about who gets the restitution. Is this the victims that get this restitution, or is it the state?
This call is now being recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez,
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Better now.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Hold on real quick. So for the month of November, for working as a clerk in the law library, I work 8 hours a day. I made a total of $16.58. Out of that $16.58, they took $8.29 out of it.
I ain't ever gonna make it to the players' ball messing with you.
Nope. For the month of December, I got paid. They paid me twice. They paid me twice because they changed my pay rate. I went up to like 18 cents an hour. So at first I made $13.80, and they took $6.90 out of it. And then I made $7.50, and they took $3.75 out of it. So, I mean, I'm like chipping away at my restitution by pennies, dude, in dollars, like a couple dollars at a time.
And then you wonder why we joke about doing sexual favors on the tier.
Yeah, for Snicker bars.
Yeah, it's the oldest profession
the oldest
in the world.
The oldest profession. Yeah, and it sucks because there's no way that we're going to be able to pay this. I mean, I'm not going to be able to pay this. I'm trying. My family sends me money. They send me money, and boom, half of it's gone. Half of it's gone right off the bat. No matter what they send me, half of it's gone. No matter what I work for at work, half of it's gone. And when they say 3 meals in a cot,
3 hots in a cot.
3 hots in a cot. Yeah, that's what it is. It's deeper. It's a deeper punishment than that. Like me and Jess, we didn't even go get the tray tonight. We stayed in. They already ran dinner, and it's just like, dude, we're not eating that. It was insane. I don't even know what that was. It was like, they call it Alfredo, but it was like a noodle in liquid. It's got some broccoli in it that it's cooked, but it still looks bright for some reason.
I will say this, though. Had we not been on the podcast, I already had an idea. I was bound.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I think I could have done something with it, but we'll have to figure that out another time because it's called broccoli Alfredo. It tastes like straight garbage. It's horrible. It's prison food at its finest. But I told Dave, I said, look, we'll go out there and get the tray. I forgot all about being on the podcast during dinner time. But I was like, we'll go out there and we'll open a couple cans of chicken, and we'll season up the chicken, and we'll season up the noodle, and just try to work a little magic on it, and hopefully it would have been all right. But yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll try that another time.
Yep. Okay, so did you have any other questions, James?
So yeah, real quick, James. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So my wife just, she came in the middle of this conversation, and she was like, "Hey, Jesse and David, they pretty much describe myself what they're looking for in a woman." I was like, "Wow, I'm lucky. Then I got I got the perfect woman right here."
I hit the lottery.
Hey, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's
yeah. Check it out. Let her tell it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's her story. I am not contradicting anything.
I have to start I'm gonna have to copy your list down. I'm gonna have to go back and replay it and write it down. Like, here, this is what I want in a woman, and she'll go ahead and check off all the boxes because that's all her right there.
Yeah, well, that's good though, because now you got
answer.
a standard to hold her to. Be like, you know what, babe? I don't think you're being very motherly right now. Can I get some cereal, please?
I'm just saying, Mama, because that's what I see in a woman.
Yeah.
That's a great quality right there.
I want that new podcast, Mike.
Yeah, I need the new podcast, Mike. I need devotion from you right now, my love.
Hey, while she's there, this chair that you're sitting in, James, is unacceptable. Like, I'm telling you, we need to get you one of them gaming chairs, and that I'm telling you, that vibrates, and then we can put a little shocker on there, so when we lose you, we can just shock you awake. Yeah.
No, I think
surround sound.
I'm gonna have to get this one reupholstered with some ostrich skin.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, ostrich skin. And what's crazy? Did I mention yesterday my son? I told him about my ostrich skin boots. And he was like, "So you want basically boots that are made out of a bird?" And I was thinking about it. Right? I was like, "Damn, this bird." This is a giant Australian bird, right? And then I was thinking, damn, that would be some ugly shoes, But that's kind of I guess what I was going for, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, if you're gonna kill something exotic, why don't you kill a gorilla and make some gorilla boots out of it, or something? I was like, damn, you're dark, kid.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, you're gonna kill a freaking gorilla, man, and make some boots out of it, But yeah, so.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to add. I wanted to touch on that question of restitution, right? Because
For years and years and years, myself and many people that I know have negated the responsibility of paying restitution. I don't want to sit here for a second, because $10,000 is a lot of money, especially for, like Dave said, we're in here making pennies on the hour, stuff like that, right? But these restitutions are given to us for a reason. Like for me, I'm paying for a funeral. I took an innocent man's life, so that $10,000 is nothing compared to what I've stolen from somebody, what I've taken from somebody's family. You know, that paying for a funeral is a small price to pay for what I've taken from these people, from that family. And so, and it's just crazy, because for years and years and years, I've avoided that responsibility. I was like, to me, I was playing the victim, like, oh, hell nah, I'm not about to pay for this. I'm not, and it's just crazy to sit here and think that that's how my mind was working. Like, I could not wrap my head around what I had done, in the sense that I was playing the victim. Like, well, why do I got to pay? I'm already doing time. I just couldn't understand it. And the only time I paid restitution back then was when I'm sitting in the shoe or sitting in ad seg. You know, when you're in the shoe, you're in ad seg, you only get, it used to be $45, now it's $55, unless it's gone up now in the last few years, but it used to be $45 and then it went up to $55. That's what you get to go no matter what. You have to live off of $55 a month. So going to store on somebody's books is not an option. Bottom line, if you want anything, you're going to have to put money on your books. And in order to get, back then they were taking 55% of whatever was sent to you. So they were getting a bigger portion of the money sent into you than what you were getting, you know, and I couldn't understand it, because to me it's like, well, I'm the one that did this. The people out there didn't do this. Why are they taking their money? You know, and it just goes to show how ignorant, you know, we are when we're in that criminal mind, you know, that we're playing the victim at every step of the way. I was, at least, you know, and it was like, well, I would just as soon not get money. I'll just sell dope right here and have somebody else take care of me here, have somebody else's family take care of me here, continuing the cycle of victimization. You know, here I am thinking I'm committing a victimless crime by selling drugs in prison, but the reality of it is I'm victimizing these dudes around here. I'm victimizing their family because they're working to support these guys' drug habits. You know what I mean? And so it was a trip, you know, and like I said, I had paid, you know, over the years of being in the shoe and being in ad seg and stuff like that. I back there I absolutely paid, but when you're on the main line, you find somebody, okay, this guy doesn't go to store, he does no restitution, you know, he came up with wino time or whatever, short time, and he paid $200 court fee, and I'm going to go to a store on his books, I'll give him $20 for every $100 I put on his books. And that's the way that we people have avoided responsibility in here, you know, from paying restitution. But in 2020, I believe, and mind you, I've made a lot of money in prison, you know, dealing drugs. You know, if I'm honest with you, like I did it for the prison gang before, and I've done it for myself selfishly as well, you know, and I could have paid the restitution a long time ago, but that's how set I was in avoiding responsibility and not paying what I owed to this family, not paying what I owed for an innocent life that I took, you know. And so when I got out of the hole in 2020, the last time I went to the hole, I made a commitment. When I made the commitment to change, I made a commitment then and there, like, you know what, man, I'm done with this. I'm done avoiding responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, it's time for me to start paying what I owe to these people. I owe them so much more, and giving them the few $1,000s that I owe them, because I owed them at the time almost $6,000 or something like that, or yeah, I believe it was like $5,300. And the crazy thing about it, listen to the irony in this. What motivated me originally is I left a bunch of money on the yard. You know, I left drug money on the yard when I went to the hole. And I had somebody here put the money on my books because I chalked it up. I said, I'm out of here. I'm going to, you know, I don't care. I'm going to leave. I'm going back to the level 4. You know, whatever money's there, it is what it is. And oh, what do you want me to do with your money? Just put it on my books. I didn't expect to see any of it. And he did. He put a large portion of money on my books, and it actually took a big chunk of the money off, you know, and it made me realize, like, man, you know what? I can pay these people what's owed to them, you know. And the crazy thing about it is I'm getting out of the hole, and I'm committed no longer to sell drugs, no longer to do anything illegal. I'm simply going to do this on whatever I can, working or the little support that I would get from outside, you know. And so I was able to get it done. I was able to take care of, in the last 2 years, I was able to take care of my restitution and get it paid off, you know. And it's truly a luxury not to owe restitution, because if you can get $100 sent to you, you get that $100 and you get to spend that whole $100. You know, me and Dave get $100, we get to spend the whole $100. It comes, you know, to my books, and we're able to buy what we need for the house, and it's cool, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to share that because a lot of people don't understand. You know, a lot of us in here thought that we were being done a disservice by getting restitution, but the reality, $18,000 that Dave owes, that sounds like a crazy number to somebody out there busting their ass every day for $15, $20, $25 an hour. You know, $18,000, that's a year's wage for some people, you know, and so you know, I don't want anybody to sympathize with that number, because the reality of it is we owe those large numbers, and I owed it, and Dave owes it, because we took a man's life, and there is no price on life.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I've got the $10,000 is the court fee. Well, it's really $10,300 in court fees. You know, the other $300 is for you know, that in-house case. I don't know whatever the court did with it. And
Right.
then the $8,000 though is the direct order. That's what I'm paying to the victim's family.
Oh.
And that covers the funeral and whatnot. You know, and yeah, he's got that coming. You know, his family got that coming. That's, you know, I just wish that I can pay it off. That's the only issue. That's the only issue I have, is I want to pay it off and move on with my life as well. There is a portion, like a part of my life. Yes, I did what I did. I take responsibility for the things that I did. I'm doing my time, and I'm acknowledging what happened, and I do feel like I owe that money. I want to pay them off. It's just this place. I mean, I'm paying these people off $8 at a time per month.
Right.
You know, and it's like, come on, you know, is that fair?
And they get those checks, because my sister-in-law was getting $5 checks, $8 checks as a direct restitution.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That money was owed to her.
Yeah.
If you have a direct order, they get those checks, bro. Just so you know, like whatever they're taking, she'll get a check. And she's like, when he got his stimulus, the dude that robbed her pad, she actually got like $800 or something like that. And she's like, man, that's the biggest chunk of money, because they took his stimulus money, half of it, to pay, you know.
Yeah, and it's a crazy situation. You know, I wish they would give me an opportunity, you know, to make some money, to work and send some money home.
And that's where CDC is moving in that direction now. You know that we're supposed to get
they're
pay
doing pay increases. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
But it's nothing that's going to be significant like that.
Yep.
I got to do one of my boys that just got out not too long ago, and we were just talking today, and they're garnishing his wages for his restitution. He got out on a murder. He did a murder, did 15 years, got out, and he's out there working, and they're actually garnishing his wages.
Yeah,
they're making him pay this. They started with $600, and he's like, there's no way I can pay $600 a month, you know, and so they set him up on payments for $300 a month. So just so we know, you know, that restitution isn't going anywhere.
Yep.
All the more they're going to come for it when we're out there working.
Yep, figure it out, you know. I hope that sheds some light on that question.
And R had he just wanted to make a comment also, and I want to go ahead and read it off to you. So he says, R, the reason I asked the question was because my wife motivates me to do better, to do more, to have more. So I just wanted to know, how can somebody be motivated with having a partner in jail, or how can they grow?
Well, I know with is dreams. You know, we have dreams, and you can't grow to you can't meet every dream while your spouse is in prison. There's things that you can do. Yes, you can save money, you can work, but you do kind of stay stagnant at the time, you know. But that's just where the strong relationships and that real love shines through.
Yeah, because two people working together would absolutely move the needle a lot quicker and a lot harder, a lot better. And sometimes it requires, because the dad or the
You have 60 seconds remaining.
to pick up where the wife can't, you know. And so if the wife has her own dreams and she has something she wants to do, a lot of times she's stagnant because she has to take care of the kids. She has to work. She is a sole provider, you know. So it's that much more harder.
And you could grow emotionally also, though. You can grow emotionally closer, because that's lacking in a lot of relationships out of society. Is you can work and you can, you know, bust your ass, you get everything you got to get, but you're not happy. You can't disconnect. So we just kind of cover that first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
To a relationship for me here is emotional connection.
All right, we'll give you a call back, James.
All right. Well, I'll be here waiting. All right. So these 15 minutes are definitely, flying by. What are we've been on for like an hour and 20 minutes so far. So I definitely, enjoy, listening to them conversate and them sharing their thoughts with us. And I also appreciate you guys, asking the questions and being part of the chat. And shout out to Fish Slayer SoCal. I just saw your message that you showed up a little bit late, but hey, you know what they say, better late than never. I appreciate, you guys, tuning in whenever you guys can. Marlene, I also saw that you tuned in a bit ago.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez,
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. So we're back on, and I was just thanking you guys off the air, for calling in and sharing these thoughts with us, and normally we wouldn't be exposed to conversations like this, from behind the walls, and fortunate that you guys are celled up together, and we're able to, or you guys are able to provide a different aspect of from behind the walls.
That's right. Yeah, 'cause we also want to help break stigmas too. We're real people in here. Yeah, we've done stuff, man. We've done some pretty crazy stuff in the past, and we've lived lives that were unacceptable. We know that. We understand that. But we're human beings. We, just like everybody else, we are deserving of love. We have qualities about us, and we're worth it. We're worth that sacrifice. The sacrifices that my wife is making, they're not in vain. I am being a good man in here. I am using this opportunity to grow with her emotionally. Our love is stronger than ever. And I had to cut things out because I wanted to be able to give my wife everything that she can have of me while I'm in here. That's why I had to cut the stuff out, and I knew I couldn't have both. My wife deserves to have those visits with me. She has that coming. And if I have to do things that are going to put that in jeopardy, then I'm not thinking about her first. I'm thinking about myself. I'm being selfish. I don't have to do drugs. I don't got to sell drugs. I don't got to use cell phones. I don't got to do none of that stuff. I chose to do those things because I wanted to do it. And I know that if I do, because they take family visits for cell phones. You get caught with a cell phone, boom, they're going for them family visits. It's a privilege. And I want to make sure that any privilege my wife can have with me, she's going to get. That's what I can do.
You're not just telling her you love her, you're showing her through your actions.
Exactly.
By not compromising your guys' visits, by doing what you need to do to be the best version of yourself for her, because she's putting so much on the line for you.
Exactly.
So the least you can do is show her that you appreciate all that by being who you need to be to ensure that you don't compromise anything that gets to enhance your guys' marriage and relationship.
Absolutely. And I need time out there with my son. I want him to have time with his dad. I want to throw him around and put him in headlocks, and I want to make sure that he has that I don't do anything to jeopardize what he has also.
Again, that's your version of events. From what I've heard, he was slipping headlocks, slipping up out of them, but hey, he did. You said you had him. That's your version.
I had him. Yeah. He was out there manhandling me, throwing me around, Yeah, but it's what it is. And that's something that I have to do. And I'm using this opportunity as far as growing. I'm not staying stagnant. There's things available in prison that I can take advantage of. So when I get out there, we're not already even more delayed than we already are. College, for instance, they're offering college classes. I could just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. I could do self-help groups. I did it for many years. I could watch TV. I can just go to yard every day and play softball and every day, or handball. I could do all that stuff, but I make sacrifices. They're offering college courses here. Guess what? I'm in them. I'm taking these classes, and I'm doing what I have to do to get a degree So I'm working on multiple degrees right now. I'm in line to get a bachelor's degree here from San Diego State, and it's not easy. But I'm doing it because I want to make sure that my wife gets everything out of me that she got coming, period. And I wasn't like that in the past. I wasn't like that. I was a very, very different person, and that's a question that Jesse had asked me before, and I'm going to let him ask it,
So look, real quick before we move on to that question, because that is a great transition to the next question, right? Before we go, though, I want to ask James. His wife understands, that she possesses all these great qualities, right? But what does James look for? What are the characteristics?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Qualities and what characteristics.
Yeah, don't whisper either, James. Like if she's in the room,
she's in the room. Doggy, it's time to face the
I need you to look in her eyes, and I need you to, to hammer them qualities home. Make us proud.
I would look in her eyes, but she's in the kitchen right now getting dinner ready. So, but she is.
Oh shit! She's already doing what she's supposed to do.
Checking that box.
Hey,
all right, let's go.
Don't get her started. Hey, she might go get that filero and put in some work. So hey.
Hey, she checked another box.
She checked another box.
With my business, you better watch out, James. Go ahead.
But you know what? So
you got to be willing to grab the strap.
So
Society James, regular James. What do you got?
So for me, to say would be, you know what? I didn't have a list, but being with my wife, she's she showed me a lot. She's the reason. She's the reason that we own a home. That we, because if it would have been up to me right now, if I would have never met her, I still would have probably been living with my mom at 42 years old. So my wife, she's ambitious. She's always wanted to own a home, go to school. So she possesses a lot of things that I never knew that I wanted in a woman. She's strong. She's you mentioned something about not letting like yourself, walk all over a woman. I definitely need somebody like that, because if not, it's gonna be all bad. I'm gonna be doing some way out stuff, pushing the envelope, and she'll put she'll put a stop to a lot of my nonsense, that I would try. So definitely need a strong partner, somebody with a good head on their shoulders, somebody that's a bit I call her crazy sometimes, but probably is not the correct word to use. But she's willing to
Terrible word.
she's word. I love it. I forgot to say crazy when I was talking about qualities. You got to be crazy to deal with a mofo like me, so I definitely need some crazy.
Yeah, because some of the stuff I be coming up with, it's not it's sometimes out of this world, and she'll give me these weird looks and stuff. So even with this podcast, when I told her that I wanted to start it up, maybe she didn't understand why I wanted to do it, but now me talking about it and other possibilities that are coming about with it, she sees that I'm motivated, and I like it. I feel like I'm actually doing something positive, with my time, to the complete opposite that I would have done maybe 20 years ago. I would have just got myself involved in stuff that didn't matter. So having a partner that supports the things that you do are definitely something that would be important on my list, even though if they don't understand them, at least support, because at the end of the day, not everybody likes to support. They might try to stop your idea even before you start it, because a lot of people are negative. When you try to share your ideas, like they try to give you crazy looks and nah, I don't think that'll work. But strong supporter, great communication, which when it took me a long time to learn how to communicate, and I'm still learning. That was one of the biggest things she would complain about me, was that I didn't know how to communicate. I was stuck in this box, and she would always, tell me like I don't know what you're thinking. You need to tell me, what you think, and you need to, verbalize it. And now, hearing that, over and over for years, I finally, started to communicate with her a little bit better. But now, talking to you guys, it's helping me to come out of my shell and share my thoughts with her and ask her, what she wants also. So
that's good.
Communication and a good listener also, somebody that's going to listen to, what you have to say, somebody with a good heart. And off of the top of my head, that's all I could think of. But I'm sure there's many other things that I'm looking for. I just don't realize it yet.
Right, absolutely. You'd have to actually sit down and write a list. Like I went offhand. David's a better thinker, a better speaker. I went offhand, but you're absolutely right. Like some of the qualities you mentioned, I forgot to mention, they're critical. And there's so many more. You would actually have to sit down and say, what do I really want in a woman? But I think you definitely named off a few great qualities that are essential in a good woman, and that's awesome that you got that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I hate to say it, but attraction was also a very important thing. I had to be like, I'm attracted to my wife. I always have been. And I know that that's a smaller quality, but it's still an important factor. If you're gonna be with this woman for the rest of your life, there has to be some attraction. Because then you're gonna fall into some platonic arrangement, And to me, I just can't do it, But we'll get into that in a little bit because I've seen that on Jesse's list right there,
All right. So my next question, right, for you, Dave, is what type of partner were you in your previous relationships, and how are you different now?
Oh man, my wife tells me straight up that.
Hold on real quick. Thanks for sharing, James Spencer. My bad. I forgot to take it.
I thought that in my head. I was like, no, we didn't thank James for sharing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, James.
Hey, nah.
James.
Hey, nah.
Because you put into words things that I was thinking, so I appreciate that.
Hey, you're gonna you messed up. You're gonna have to go yell down the tira y despensa en la tira. That's the way you can correct this one.
Yeah, con permiso.
No, we said it now. Yeah, that's the Nawa version. That's what. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So yeah, good looking out, so James. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate your contribution to the conversation, and definitely because that did something for me because it helped me. I was trying to rattle off qualities that resonate with me, and like I felt like you put, what I was thinking into words. So that's great. I appreciate that. Good looking out.
Thank you.
With that said, what type of partner were you in your previous relationship, Dave? And how are you different now? I probably can answer this question for you because I know you from previous relationships.
Yeah.
However, I want you to share for the audience. And James,
I was very selfish, and I was an asshole. My wife has told me that in the past. She's like, look, you were an asshole. There's a difference. There's a difference between confidence, cockiness, and arrogance. I was more along the lines of cocky and arrogant. Yeah. I was basically like, look, my shit stinks, but it smells good.
Yeah.
and that's what it is. I was real big on image. I wanted to always have like a nice car. I wanted to, I wanted to give off that aura of like, just power, control and whatnot. And I didn't put up with really anything. If I felt like if I felt like one of my unreasonable boxes wasn't being checked, then it was time to go. And I was very vocal about it. I didn't beat around the bush. I was just like, hey, do me a favor, go out there and sit on the curb and wait for a ride.
Literally.
No, yeah, that's how I was. Go out there, take a hike. And the girl would be
somewhere. I got somebody coming over right now.
Yeah, no, I've done it, and she'd be like, well, who are you calling? I'll be like, your replacement. Go ahead and go ahead and
do it, move, make the gravel travel.
Yeah, you only got a couple minutes. She's gonna be here soon.
Yeah, and I don't want her to see you.
Yeah, and that was, but I mean, it's not. It might sound like kind of messed up, and like, but that was just what it was. And I know why I was like that. I was actually a very insecure person. I was really.
Hey, speaking of fat chicks, who's that at the door?
Oh, that looks like Doug. No, is that Manny?
Tiny.
Oh, that's Tiny. No,
Read it, homegirl. We're on the podcast.
Yeah, somebody's at our door. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, I was actually an insecure person, and I was afraid of being hurt. I had been hurt in the past, just in my own, my own child.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And whatnot, and I projected that into my relationships. I was extremely dysfunctional. So if I felt like there was anything wrong and I set unreasonable standards, then I was just like, hey, do me a favor, go ahead and kick rocks. This is done. And
defense mechanism.
Yeah, it was a defense mechanism. I'll go ahead and call back, James.
All right, we'll be here. All right. So right now, when they come back, Fish Lair, I'll go ahead and let them know that you're blessing them with that $20, and I'm pretty sure they'll be excited. I know I'm excited for them, man. David, he's gonna be having a whole ostrich suit, pretty soon. He got the boots, the jacket, the pants, the belt. Can't forget about the belt and the boots. Man, he's gonna be going all out.
This call is now
This
being
is
recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello? Hey, so
yes, sir.
So right now, I don't got that little wah, 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 wah. But if I did, I would be doing the little blowhorn sound. Cause
that was close enough. Me out right now.
So Fish Lair SoCal for Jess and David, he's just dropping a $20, 20 smackaroonies your ways.
Man, that's the boy right there, man. Thank you, man, very much, man. Yeah,
we're gonna have to draw him a Slayer poster and send it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking out, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, he said, I think he might need another story of either like a one-legged a celly, one-arm celly, or something. We need something interesting for Fish Lair SoCal.
He said he wants a one-eyed Willie Celly.
Give him a Yep. Yeah, I gotta give him a I'll think of one right now because in prison I've seen so many weird things. Hey, let me tell you this: the blind guy. I don't. What's crazy about in prison before? I used to see a lot of blind people, and I haven't seen no blind people in this term. I don't know. Maybe if they've changed the system around and they got them in places where they're supposed to go. But in the early 2000s, there was blind people all over the yard, and yeah. So that was to me. I always thought that was the worst thing in the world, man, to be in prison blind. And there was this dude, and his name was Martin, and he was a homie. He was he was on the main line, and he was always doing burpees. Like he looked regular. And he would come I would come up and talk to him a little bit. And I wanted to know if he was completely blind. He said no, that he was in a riot, and he said he got shot in the head with a block gun, and the lights went out, and he never regained his sight. And I used to just ask him, like, hey, what's it like? He goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Sometimes I just want to die. I don't want to. I just can't. I just look around and I think like, fuck, like this. And he was a lifer, and those were the days when the lifers were, you're just toast if you're a lifer. He just said, man, I just look around and I just don't see anything. It's fucking always dark,
And you hear a bunch of bullshit in prison. So if all you're stuck with is your
sounds,
yeah.
And
it's like, really?
Yeah, he used to walk around. People would hold his arms, and he would hold their shoulders. But so that one was like a story. I don't know why I went there, but that was depressing. That was terrible right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fish Slayer.
Yeah. Look,
now you got David talking about blind guys.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go back to that one thing. I'm gonna tell you another story.
So he said,
tell you another nasty story.
He said he wants a refund. He wants the $20 back. That story didn't cut it. No, he said
I don't blame him. So
he said he wants a pattern for his sleeve. He's trying to get a tattoo. He needs something something nice. So if you guys go ahead and draw up, preferably if you're an artist, you know, we don't need any chicken scratch patterns. So whoever's the best artist, you know, if you could draw him something.
What's he looking for? What kind of stuff is he? If he's working on his arm, what does he already have on there? That something that would actually kind of blend together with. What's he working on?
I'll get him something nice.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some badass dudes in here.
Yep.
I'm thinking about a telephone and a telephone connected to the wall to a cinder block, and with the logo you have a collect call from. I'm not sure if he'll be down with that, but that's what I'm visioning.
Hey, who are you? Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story that I don't tell to very many people. And this guy promised me. I mean, he had me promise him. And this is the one-legged guy. This is Manny, the OG with one leg. He made me promise to never tell this story ever. And you know what? This happened in 2001, probably 2002. So, you know, and I think Mandy's probably dead, so that would have absolved me, right, from any confidentiality. You know, so I just want to say this is exclusive right here to You Have a Collect Call From. This is insane.
Dave was supposed to go to the grave with this one.
I was supposed to take this to the grave. And Manny, if you're out there somewhere and you're not dead,
I'm sorry.
And you're hobbling around somewhere, you know, and you find yourself on a podcast.
Yeah. I was supposed to put this in the vault, but I'm like Elaine, and nothing stays in the vault.
It's been long enough. Okay, so one time, right, because we were drunk, man. We were pretty drunk, and you know, I had just discovered like Pruno, the way I really get you drunk, dude. It's like it was like you were drinking out of a freaking bottle of Old English, dude. It got you pretty jacked up, you know. So I'm drunk, right? I'm drunk. Manny's drunk. We're having a good time. This old man, he was cool, man. He was like, every time that he would come off the bunk and he would like just hop down like a monkey, you know what I'm saying? Like he would like use it was almost like a jungle gym on the locker. Yeah, he would just go and hit the ground and he'll jump around, and you know, he did not want to put this damn leg on. You know, so we're drunk. It's the same thing. We're having a good time. We're partying. It's cool, right? So I go to sleep. I crash out. On the next morning, I wake up and he's right there with a guilty look on his face, and he's fucking washing all his sheets, right? He's got his sheets over the sink, and we didn't have a bucket or nothing, and he's washing all his stuff, right? And I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, damn. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You know? And he's like, I peed myself. He said that he peed himself in the middle of the night, right? And he soaked his sheets, and he was so embarrassed. And he's like, don't ever tell anybody this ever, you know, that this happened, you know. And he's freaking like, he's cleaning his sheets, like he just sat there.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He sat there and drained the whole top bunk. You remember? He's on the top bunk. So me, I'm laying there. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. I said, that's embarrassing, you know? And then I'm starting to notice, I'm like, damn, all my sheets are wet, you know? And I'm laying on a bunk.
Rolls down the wall, right? Running down.
Yeah, because I sleep against the wall. And this fool peed so much, he drained his, you know, he soaked his sheets and peed down the whole wall and peed on me.
Horrible. Horrible. My case.
Hey,
I thought I smelled something coming off of you.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, why are my sheets so wet? Oh, hell no. You know, the wall's all freaking sticky. The look on his face, like, remember, this is prison.
And this is Pruno piss, so it smells like street.
Yeah, this is prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is prison. You know, he realized what he did, and the blood just rained from his face, because he's like, damn, it's one thing to pee on me, but now I just peed on my celly. And remember, this is I'm a youngster. Like, I've turned up. Like, I'm working my way up the levels. Like, I talked about that before. Like, I was putting in work. Like, I'm not the kind of person you want to pee on at this time. But, you know, I thought, like, man, I couldn't stop laughing, man. It made me laugh. Like, I was just like, you fucking scumbag, you know? Like, how could you know, what the hell? And he's like, don't ever tell anybody. Promise me you'll never say nothing. He's like, take all your sheets down. And I'm like, fuck, yeah, no, you're going to take my sheets off. I'm a fucking bird bag. But yeah, that's
get your urine off.
My takeaway from that story is not to tell Dave any secrets that I don't want anybody else to hear about.
I will. Hey, yeah.
Hey, $20. All it takes is $20.
Yeah, $20, and he sold the freaking ranch.
Sold out, man. I sold out my one-legged cell.
Yeah, he sold out his one-legged catamaran
for $20. But I had to tell. Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah, and I had to give him a story. I had to give him.
Hey, you know what's the worst part? Hey, the worst part is that you got a golden shower in prison and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
I did.
You got blessed one time.
It happened. I took one bite off the Snicker bar, and that's what it got me.
Yeah, he took one bite off the Snicker bar and got urinated on. What the hell is going on here?
I was a little hungry.
Sounded like he was in Skid Row somewhere.
Yeah, I was a little hungry. I took a little bite off the Snicker bar. I figured, well, that, you know.
The crazy thing about that, though, is literally I've seen in prison, I've seen numerous people get so drunk that they pissed themselves, pissed all over their floor. I've seen some crazy ass shit in prison with dudes getting sauced. You know what I mean? Like you start drinking that lightning and that Pruno, and the fucking dudes just get so messed up that literally like they'll be passed out and they cannot wake up out of a stupor and they're pissing all over. Like there was one cat that he was a repeat offender. I got to like whenever he had cellies, like when they would move in with him, I'll be like, look, fool, when you guys start drinking, this fool has to sleep by the door. Do not allow him on the top bunk. Do not allow him over here.
What the hell?
Yeah, you know him too. If I said his name, you'd know him. He's from South Carolina. He's actually on the side now too. But this dude literally was a repeat offender. Like, straight up, when the party would start going, it'd be like, sit on the toilet right there. We're just gonna drink and talk shit from the toilet, fool. Because when you start getting so fucked up and throwing up and everything, it's a wrap. This cat would wake up and piss at least once a month. And we used to drink every week back then, But horrible. Just that's how good the alcohol was that people were making in prison. That numerous people just letting it go, But
so speaking of this, before we move on to this, because I got another whole little thing, see, Fish Fighter SoCal, we do that for him. We do that for him, though. That's the boy right there.
But make sure you let him know, James, that let us know what kind of pattern, because the man send you something sick for him. You know what I mean? Like
so actually he just put it in the comment. So he put he wants let me see. So he wants a pattern of downtown San Diego with a twist.
Okay.
There it is. Say no more.
Got you. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
There's a lot of cats from Dago right here.
We'll try to have it sent to your phone, James, and you can upload it to him or do whatever you got to do,
Okay.
And give us a little bit though. Because we want it to be nice,
Yeah, we got you.
We'll figure it out.
All right, cool, perfect.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gift to him because he looks out for us a lot. But we saw with Jesse the other day. We get an intake, this guy comes in and this dude, Jesse's like, oh, look at that motherfucker right there. He thinks he's all hard. He's walking all hard, and freaking, he's probably a gang member, and fucking, the dude comes back out the cell. One of his legs is missing. He's got a prosthetic leg.
But I even said it though. I said he's walking like he's walking so hard. He looked like he got missing a leg or something. You know what I mean? He had such a cold lean on him. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly
he had a gangster lean.
Yeah. I said he had a gangster lean. I said that dude right there walking like he got a shorter leg than the other one or something. You know what I mean? And sure enough, he comes out the cell. He takes his jumpsuit off. He comes out. He's grabbing his shit and walks back. And he's actually got a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, but he had a nice one though. He had like one of them bar legs. Like. One of them ones that looked like it was really hooked up.
Like titanium.
Yeah, Manny's leg was freaking hooked up like, it looked like an actual...
Manny looked like an old pirate's leg.
He did, yeah, he had a wooden peg, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Manny had some old shit.
Civil War wooden leg shit.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've actually been in prison with several dudes that missing some limbs and shit, But,
hey, the craziest one? Because, I got to talk about this injury. And I know we're going off topic, but I'm telling you, I met a dude in here, James, that got his head shot point blank with a shotgun. Put it right to his freaking forehead and pulled the trigger, and his freaking head, and he survived somehow.
Talking about that white boy?
Nah, he was a homie. He was in Iowa with me, and
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
All that looked wrong with him. I mean, what you could think was a gauge. I don't know if it was a 12 gauge or if it was a buckshot or a slug, but it took off half of the top of his head, and it would look like a crater was missing, like if you cut a can open, a cantaloupe. like, you know, if you cut a cantaloupe and you pull it out and the head is all there, but it's got like a perfect little like little triangle. You know what I'm saying? And all that was missing right here. Yeah, it was all missing, and it looked all grown in, like the way it was, because he was bald, so his head like went around a little bit, and it curved in halfway, and it just went in like a deep dip. It was all crazy right there. Like, yeah, that dude got gauged point blank, and he freaking survived. And he talked normal, but he just limped weird. Like, you could tell it messed up his walking, like his motor functions. Yeah. But he was right there, like on a mainline yard, and I was like, damn. You know, that was almost lights out for that dude. You know. Yeah. That was that was crazy. But yeah, you meet up. Go ahead.
Fish Layer said, you remember, you know how you were talking about Manny? He said he was walking around like he was going to an ass kicking contest.
Exactly.
He had his leg on a hinge and he was kicking his own ass.
He was oh, hey, let me tell you this. So I had a celly that was missing he was missing an eye. And this was an old Israeli dude. This was Jacob. My boy right there, man. Jacob was cool, man. He was an old man.
60 seconds remaining.
Jacob had a C number. So and he was still in. Yeah, he was like came in like the late 70s or, you know, whenever they gave the C number out. Early 80s, yeah. He's been in that long, you know. And his eye was missing. And one time I asked him, because you know, he went over, it was like a little, like I don't know, it was a little fake eye. And I asked him to send it to the neighbor, and I you know, I was a dope man, so I told the neighbor, hey, I got a hot clavo for you, you know. And I sent him Jacob's eye. That fool freaking unwrapped it like, hey man, you're fucked up.
Here's your Shelly's eye back.
Yeah, I should be careful with it. It's open, you know.
He's like, can I get a paper though still?
Yeah. I'm gonna call back, James.
All right. All right. So the call, you know, came to an end, but they'll go ahead and be calling us back shortly, and they'll go ahead and continue with the conversation. And I think I'm scheduled for another call, but I don't remember if it's at 7 or 8:30. We have JoJo calling in. Something this time. It's hard for me to keep track of these calls. I do have really bad short-term memory, so I should probably take notes, but I don't. So I'm gonna check my app right now to check if I got any messages, or I'll send them a message just to confirm. So we should have another upcoming call after this one, and that'll be the last one for the. Oh no, I might be having Javier coming on. I had sent him a message. He still hasn't got back to me. I asked him if he wants to, you know, come on later on.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez.
an inmate at Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
All right, James.
Yeah, hello. I just realized that we're getting the prompts in English, which reminds me, I got a notification from YouTube yesterday.
Damn, again, that's right. And Jesse asked me that yesterday. I was like, I don't know. He didn't say nothing. So, yeah, we'll go back to Spanish.
Okay, all right.
We'll go back to Spanish again.
That'll
Go back to Telemundo.
Yeah, Telemundo. Hey, so what do we got? We got what, like 2 more calls, Jesse, you think, or a little more?
Yes, we got to about 7.
Okay. Yeah, we got to about 7 o'clock.
I know we kind of spiraled a little bit out of control. We really haven't got a chance to get through too much of these conversations. I mean, these questions, you know, to stay on topic. But it's cool. I mean, like I said, as long, you know, if it's organic, it's organic. If it's moving along, it's cool. You know, it doesn't have to be so formal. You know, but yeah. So what did you think, James? You think we're good for about 2 more calls, or?
What you got? What you got for us, James?
Yeah. We could do 1 or 2 more calls. We're definitely good. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying.
Well, I'm not really I'm not really asking you. Ask your wife if we'll do 2 more calls. Yeah, I guess I should have said the question properly. Hey, James, is your wife cool with 2 more calls?
Yeah, she's cooking dinner, you know.
Yeah, you better check in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
your list.
I'm gonna shoot a wheel under the door right now and see what I get back.
Yeah, just don't have an eyeball in it. Yeah. So, hey, this yeah. So okay. So getting way back to what we were about how I was in the past, right? About how I was in the past, and what the difference between how I am then and now is pretty much night and day. I'm still a dick. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not a dick to my wife. If I feel like I don't really have a middle ground with a lot of things, you know. If I feel like, okay, if I get hit on or something like that, you know, so, you know, because you know, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, you know, but I don't consider myself an ugly dude, you know. So if I start getting attention in that regard, and I can't rebuff it like properly, you know, if I can't just like, I'll try to gracefully just dance around and be, hey man, you know, I'm married, I'll show my ring. But if I feel like they're not getting the point, I'm gonna be like, hey, check this out, you know, what part is, you know,
you don't speak English or
yeah,
what?
are you stupid or something? You know, like, you understand this? Like, do I need to call my wife and have her put you in check? You know, but that's how I feel. You know, it's like, look, I don't want that. I can work in a working relationship with a member of the opposite sex, as long as it's in a professional capacity. Yeah, but I don't want those attentions from anybody else other than my wife. Period. You can hit me up, you can say how to do's and whatnot, but I'm a married man and I'm very happily married and I love my wife and that's just what it is. You know, I don't need anything else. You know, she fulfills that. So if I can't get that point across in a respectful manner, then I can see myself being very disrespectful. And I don't want to be like that. It's just that I'm working on myself, you know, and that's just the way. That's the difference between what you know, before it was clean across the board, you know. Like if I felt like, you know, even with my wife, I was never disrespectful to her, like that. But there was times where I was a dick. She told me, you're an asshole. She goes, I heard what you were doing with these other girls, the way that you were, you know, the way that you were, but you were never like that with me. But you know, trust and believe. I thought you were an asshole too, in some capacity. You know, and I understand that. That's something that I had to work on, and that, you know, like I said before, that was fear and insecurity. And I know that's the difference now. Knowledge is really the difference. No, what about you? What about you, Jess?
The funny thing about that is well, you know me from the past, and I was absolutely the same way.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is it worked in my favor. You know, like for some reason, because like I said, I don't think I'm an ugly dude, but I ain't the finest mofo.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But my arrogance and my asshole worked in my favor.
See, I'm extremely easy on the eyes.
and it's funny because it's like a lot of chicks used to say, like, the fact that I acted like that, because it's just like, man, I'm not tripping. Females are females. There's always going to be another one, you know, and that's kind of how I approach things. So it worked against me, you know, because a lot of chicks were like, what's so great about you that you're not tripping on me? Or when a lot of dudes will be jacking chicks and shit like that, it's like I said yesterday, you know, like I felt like I was a guy that gets to the world, you know, and it was just, again, it was a defense mechanism to, you know, so that way I didn't ever have to feel vulnerable for rejection or anything, disappointment or anything like that, because it's like, well, you know what, if I was to get shot down, it's because I didn't give a shit to begin with, you know what I mean? When that's not reality, you know, that's not real. But who I was in the past, you know, my past relationships, you know, like dating, I was, you know, I was a sorry ass partner. I wasn't even a partner. That's stretching the word, you know, like it was, everything was one sided. You know, my relationships, everything was one sided. I didn't really care. I didn't, you know, like I say, I have mommy issues, so I really didn't have a lot of respect for women as a whole, you know, and it just and it showed itself in my relationships. I was doing me, and at the end of the day, it was kind of like whatever, you know. I had one relationship on the street that I made a valiant effort to try to do the right thing, and as soon as things started to go a little sideways, I went back to knowing what I knew how to do, and I was being a dog, being a dirtbag, you know. And so for me in the past, that's who I was, and today, like I said, I try to completely understand. I do understand who I was in the past, it wasn't right. You know what I mean? The way I treated people, the way I've seen things, I understand that. So I try to give, you know, females the same respect that I expect. You know, I know it's as I'm growing and I'm starting to understand myself, I know my perspective continues to evolve as well. You know, and I like to believe that I could be a great partner today because, you know, like I said, I'm compassionate, I'm understanding. I semi know express my feelings. I'm not completely afraid of vulnerability, you know, and so I'm able to communicate a lot better. Like you said, James, you know, like I wasn't a big communicator in the past because I really didn't care. Communication requires two sides, and I didn't care what the other side had to say. It's like, this is what it is. If you don't like it, it is what it is, you know. And like I said, with quality I look for in a female, like I need a woman to be strong and I need her to be independent. I need her to be driven and have goals. But at the same time, I do need a certain level of submission. I need a woman to understand, like, hey, I'm your man and this is what it is. That doesn't take anything away from her being my woman either, because I have no problem submitting in certain aspects of the relationship as well, you know. But I have to be comfortable in the relationship before I would allow that. Other than that, there's still parts of me that's like, no, this is what it is and this is how it's going to be. But I was just a bad dude all the way around in relationships in the past, where today I believe that I'm a totally different person. Like they said, night and day. You know what I mean? I believe that like I said, I'm evolving. I'm a work in progress. I like to believe that in the future, I believe I could make a perfect spouse. You know, but I still have a lot of issues wrong with me. A lot, you know, I'm unstable to say the least sometimes. You know. And I know that can be hard for anybody, you know, but I believe I can be a good boyfriend, a good husband, a good lover, a good, you know, father, a good. I'm all around a good man today, I believe, because I'm working on myself and I understand that.
Now, are these hypothetical responses for a relationship that's out in society, or is this for just while you're in prison, or is this is who you are today, right?
Yeah, this is who I am today.
Yeah,
me as a person, as a man.
But being in prison, right? Being in prison, and you know, being in a relationship, being in prison. What are the challenges though that you think that, you know, a prison relationship is going to bring?
Oh man, it's a prison relationship isn't easy, you know, especially for somebody like me who's had power and control issues his whole life. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, I've dominated my relationships. I've dominated people in my surroundings. You know, I've always been a very aggressive person, a very assertive, a very alpha male. And so being in a relationship in prison today is something that can be a struggle, because I don't like the power dynamic. I feel semi-powerless in a relationship because I'm here in prison. You know, I'm unable to provide because I no longer involve myself in criminal activity. That's an insecurity that I struggle with because I've always been able to provide in the past. You know, certain aspects, I still struggle with certain insecurities, you know, that might make it be like I expect a certain level of devotion, a certain level of commitment, you know, and so like that can be an issue sometimes, because I'm trying to find that balance. Like, okay, well, you know what? I understand there's life out there. People have their lives. They're doing what they got to do. You know, it's not all about me. But at the same time, I still expect a certain level. If you signed up for this and this is, you know, then I need you to at least be the best version of yourself and at least meet me somewhat where I'm at. You know, so I think that could be a problem. You know, like I said, Trust can definitely be a problem. Yeah, trust can definitely be a problem, you know, because it like I said, because of the power dynamic. I believe that the female holds all the power in the relationship because they're out there. They get to make all the decisions, all the choices. They have all the options and all the opportunities, while I'm sitting here behind this wall. And it's crazy to think that. Like, that goes to show how much I still have to work on my power and control issues, because if I was out there in the real world and it's like, okay, you know what, I'm sitting right here in front of you. If you do something wrong, I have all the opportunities to make my own choices. I don't need you for anything. I'd like to believe that we need each other moving forward. But if you decide it's today or tomorrow, you know what? I don't need you. Okay, well, I don't feel so bad. I don't need you to need me in every sense of the word. But I don't like to be in a position where I need you completely either. And I believe by being in here, you need your significant other, because they're your arms, your legs, your hands, your feet. your eyes, your ears.
And that's the fine line between being in a relationship because you want to be in the relationship or codependency.
Right.
There's a fine line right there, you know, and it's okay to like, I need my wife, but in healthy ways.
Right.
You know, I'm not codependent on my wife. If my wife says, hey man, you know, things are hard, you know, you're going to have to try to you figure it out, try to save, and hey, I have to respect that.
Yep.
You know, and I have to respect it, and I have to find a way, but I also have to find a way within legal limits. You know, I can make taffy, I can make cookie wheels, you know, there's things that I can do where, okay, if I can't go to store for whatever amount of time, you know, or my family can't, you know, look out for me and help me out, I have to figure it out. And if I'm separating myself from crime, then I have to.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I gotta figure it out legally.
You gotta be willing to make the sacrifice.
Yeah, to sacrifice. Yeah, I'm not gonna have my ostrich boots or you know and whatnot. You know, I'm gonna have to figure out with some guys or try to do some negotiations. You know, steer clear of bars. But there's gotta be something. You know, but the challenge is that you mentioned trust earlier, and that is a challenge in this type of relationship. You know, being with a loved one that's incarcerated, I have to trust that my wife is out there doing the things that, you know, that I would hope she was doing, you know, just being a good woman, and she does. You know, I feel like those barriers are broken down already. I allow myself to be vulnerable with this person, you know, with my feelings and my issues that I have in the past. As far as
dishonesty can shake.
Yeah, and it does. And there was things like early on in you know, my relationship with my wife that I did keep from her. You know, I didn't want to tell her things, and most of it was out of embarrassment. Like I told her, and I just wasn't ready to open up. It was pretty much like when I was ready to, like I didn't want to tell my wife that I was in here shooting up heroin. You know, I never shot up heroin out on the streets. That was not something that I did out of society. I was a tweaker. But I was so messed up in prison that I told her that I had only done it a few times. And in my head, I wasn't lying to her. You know, in my head, I was like, yeah, I did it a few times, you know, like on that run. You know, but in
times a day.
But if you think about it, yeah, I was thinking about, you know, that was true, but it was a dishonest, it was misleading, and it was dishonest, and that was something that I did almost without hesitation. I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, I'm not saying that, you know, and those were things that affected my wife. She's like, well, you know, if we have to have trust here, you're gonna have to be straight up and open with me about the things that you don't feel like you should be talking about with me. You gotta, you know, don't hide nothing. And it was hard because it's like, damn, we freaking, you know, we hide shit in here, you know, is
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Is a matter of survival. We're always under the gun in these places, you know, and so it becomes second nature, where you might not think, oh, well, that's not a big deal. It's easier not to even get into it. But no, that's a dishonest statement right there. That's going to cause distrust. So I had to be vulnerable, and I had to be like, look, I was shooting up heroin all the time. I don't consider myself a heroin addict, but I was a freaking, you know, I was a freaking drug addict.
So with that in mind, of talking about trust right there, right? I believe that next question right there is, you know, and do you think that it's selfish to
We're down to 12 seconds.
Hey, I heard the little. I heard the little bell. I'm gonna call.
Okay.
Call
all right. And for anybody wondering what that was, is I told them, like, in the past, if I ever ring that bell, that we're short on time and that the call's about to cut off, so like that they wouldn't continue, you know, conversating and talking while the phone was being cut off. So they should be calling us back shortly. This call right now is gonna probably be our last one. As far as with Jesse and David, but we do have I do have Jojo coming on, I believe right after them. So once we're done with that, then we're gonna go ahead and run another one.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
David Lopez,
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
All right, James.
All right.
Yes.
And I just want to give you guys the heads up. I forgot I had scheduled the call at 6:30 with JoJo. So I asked him if he could call me back at 7. So this will be our last call for the night, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go in overtime with JoJo.
Okay, that'll work. What JoJo is it? Trejo or the other one?
JoJo, yeah, Trejo.
Trejo. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, the other one's Brew. So the other Joe, we're gonna refer to Brew for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, we'll call him Brew. And JoJo, I want to call him the beard.
Yeah.
He's got, hey man, this dude's got, he's got a magnificent beard, man. That motherfucker looks like a lion's mane just hanging off his jaw. That thing's insane. Yeah. It even looks like it's like multicolored and everything. Like it looks. Man.
Keeps it right.
That thing's gnarly.
It
looks all greased up.
It looks nice.
Got the waves in the right places.
Right. Hey,
right.
So real quick, the next question. We're clearly not going to make it through these questions, so I think we might have to roll over this relationship thing another time, But I at least want to try to move along with one more question, and the next question is it selfish to expect your partner to put their life on hold while you're in prison?
Yes.
That simple? Yes?
Yes. And this is the thing. I don't want to lose my wife. I don't. I'm in prison. I'm doing this time. I'm going to go to board. Like, this isn't the life that I would want for my wife. Absolutely not. She deserves to have me out there at home. And I just, it's a horrible question to ask. Thank you for asking me this question. It's horrible. But it is like, and I do want to be with my wife. I want to be married to her. I want to be her husband, and I have to be in prison, and I want her to be with me while I'm in prison. I do. I want her to be with me while I'm out of society. I wanted her to be with me before I came in. And the thing is that I didn't understand all the things that were wrong with me at that time, in all kinds of unhealthy ways in the past. But I don't want to say that it's selfish, but at the end of the day, dude, like, I wasn't willing to let her go when I knew that it was probably the best thing for her. It wouldn't have been her ideal choice, but I can't make those decisions for my wife. My wife is the one that makes that call. She chooses me every day.
Yeah. I think my perspective differs just a little bit than yours. I think it's selfish to some extent to expect anybody to put their life on hold for anybody, as far as in the sense of putting it on hold. I don't believe that I'm asking anybody to put their life on hold, because the reality of it is, like you said, your wife chooses you.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, like, even more so now that I'm in a healthier place in my life, I cannot wrap my head around what goes on. Why would anybody want to be with somebody like me in a situation like this?
And that thought process, though, is what led me down a lot of paths in here.
Right.
I was thinking I'm not good enough.
Right.
With my time, you can go ahead, Jess, but I just want to tell you that was the beat. That was the what do you call it? The beat to my drum.
Yep, absolutely. And you're right, and that's how I lived for a long time, which is why it was so easy, because even in even being in a relationship in here for a long time, it's like, oh, this relationship's going to end any day because I'm unworthy of this relationship to begin with. So I was in a self-destructive, cycle in any relationship. And now even today in a healthy place, I can't help but to ask myself, and the crazy thing is, me, bro, I know what I have to offer this world now. And that's not coming from a cocky place. That's not coming from an overconfident place, because I know my true self.
You know your worth, yeah.
I know my value. I know what I'm going to contribute to society as well as to my partner upon, being released from this place. But I still can't help but to wonder, why would anybody want to be with somebody under these circumstances? However, anybody that chooses to, because it's a choice. Every one of us has choices. Everything in life is about making a choice. And you're 100% right. In the past, I may have manipulated people to stick around with me in here because it was all self-serving. You know, it was all self-serving.
I knew I was like, okay, well, this person wants to be with me because I'm my status because of who I was, because of this and that. I was the Dave the Llavero, Dave this and that. So I used that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I gave just enough, just enough to keep keep it on the leash, and that was that. But I didn't give a fuck about that person.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. As soon as they were gone, and they gave a little bit of indication, like they ain't cool with this, cool. Beat it.
There'll be another groupie that's gonna fill the slot.
Yeah, beat it, nerd.
Yeah, beat it, nerd. Yep. No, 100%. And then then you have the ones who stick around forever, for a long time, and it's kind of like wow, But I do say this that in the context of this conversation, I don't believe I'm asking anybody to put their life on hold. Yeah, here. And I don't believe that I would be asking anybody to put their life on hold. Like you said, it's a choice, Anybody that's going to be with me today is going to understand what I bring to the table today and the man that I am today, And if they choose to do something else, that's on them. But if they make the choice to be with me, it's not that I'm being selfish and saying, hey, put your life on hold. Continue to live your life. But if you're in a relationship with me, I have certain expectations. And that's one of the other questions later on down the list. Like what are the expectations that I have of my spouse, and what do I believe my spouse's expectations are of me? But I absolutely have expectations. And if you make the choice to say that, hey, you know what? I'm going to be in a relationship with you. I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to do my time. That doesn't mean that your freaking life ends and you're sitting in a box and you're waiting every minute and every day and I'm your captor, because if that's how things feel, then you got no business being with me, because I don't want to hold anybody hostage.
Nope.
And so, but I absolutely do. If you commit to that emotional contract with me, I absolutely expect you to be here. And I don't think it's selfish, because you're getting something from this, obviously, because you care for me and you like the love that I bring to the table, and vice versa, But and so, like, again, it's a growing pain. It's a relationship to prisoners we know are a growing pain.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But I don't think it's, for me, I don't think it's selfish to but also too, I'm not telling them to put their life on hold. It's like, hey, live your life, continue to flourish, because I want the best version of you when I'm out there as well.
Yeah, how can I add to this?
How can I add to this from here? Tell me, we've talked about it before. The only thing we truly bring to the table from in here is that emotional stability. That's the only thing we can bring to our spouses from in here, to our partners, is an emotional connection. Especially in this life that we live now, we're not contributing financially to whatever it is they're doing out there. And so, I like I said, I don't believe that it's selfish, because it's like, hey, if you want the same thing that I want, then you have to be willing to at least meet me where I'm at, And again, it doesn't mean put your life on hold, but it definitely means you have to fulfill some of the obligation of being my woman, and that's just what it is, So it's a choice, If they decide to put their life on hold as it's written, then that's how they feel. Maybe they're not in the right place, because I'm not asking anybody to put their life on hold. I know you're not asking anybody to put their life on hold.
Nope.
But you definitely have expectations of your spouse.
Absolutely.
So, so I'm going to move on to this next question. Do you expect fidelity from your partner?
100%.
100%.
Everything. I mean, emotional, physically, mentally,
sexually.
Absolutely. That's what monogamy. I'm monogamous. I don't want no other woman, and I don't want my wife to want any other man. It's just what it is. I'm not talking about like the jealousy thing about an actor on TV or something like that. But as far as seeing attractive people out there and whatnot, I'm not naive, but it's what it is. But I don't, I believe that that's a healthy thing. I don't want my spouse to want anybody else other than me, and I believe that she doesn't,
and that's how it should be. I'm 100%. Like, it's not, I'm not. I'm territorial.
I'm extremely territorial.
I'm very possessive and territorial, not in the sense of a toxic level, but she's mine. I want to know that I'm the only thing she wants in me, and that gives me a sense of security. You know, at the end of the day, if she could be attracted to dudes, just say I'll be attracted. She could be attracted to dudes or chicks, and I could be attracted to chicks the same way. But it doesn't mean we have to act on it or anything like that. It's but I definitely want to know that I'm the only star in her eye. And I think that's just I think anybody would want that. Who would want to be in a relationship where where they're sharing their shit?
Hey, some people do it. I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
it's not a box I'm checking.
No, for sure.
And that's what it is.
Okay, so with that in mind, how would you feel, or how would you handle infidelity? Can you come back from that?
Divorce. I can't. If my wife is also my temple. And if it's desecrated, then but she's also told me the same thing. There's no coming back from that. And there's stupid mistakes, but some of them are going to cost you. And I know that. I'm just saying that's something that my wife and I have talked about. I can't even. It's crazy because if I had somebody that I cared about in the past, that I was looking into a more serious relationship, if they were to like mess around with somebody and whatever, it'll trigger enough insecurity in my mind to where I'll never want to talk to that person again. And but that's if there were situations in the past where I've had like an ex of mine or something like that, and she hooked up with a homie and stuff like that or whatever. Hey, that's their business, I'm not here to police anybody's love life or whatnot, But I'm talking about in a relationship with me, in a current relationship. If that's violated, that's done. I won't even. It's crazy because it shuts off like a light switch. I will not feel any type of attraction at all for that person ever again.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Hey guys, can you hear me? If you can, we can't hear you. Your phone went dead. It went dark. So I know the audio sounds a little bit choppy. So
Cover from.
Okay, we can hear you now.
What's up? Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll leave
that in the day room in a minute. Just
we only got a couple minutes. We got a couple minutes on this phone call, but
yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I've never been in a healthy relationship, and if I'm honest, I've been a straight scumbag in the past, and I've even made that clear to a lot of my girls in the past. Like, yep, I'm a cheater, and if you don't like it, go ahead. Like, I really don't want to be in this relationship.
That was the old dick. Like, yeah, like I don't know how you got me into this mess of a relationship in the first place, but this is what you got.
But who I am today, moving forward, I 100% want to be in a relationship with fidelity. You know what I mean? I want to be, just because it's just compromising, because it's contrary to who I'm trying to be today.
And that's why the boxes have to be checked, though. You got to make sure that there's some that you can live without, and some you can't.
Right, and when they're certain, exactly, when you set those qualities, when they don't meet all those qualities and characteristics, and nobody's ever going to meet all of them, because I damn sure am not no freaking fool.
You just gotta look. You just have to make sure you're looking hard enough and don't settle.
Yeah.
Because mine did, 100%. I can't find one. I think it would be like like doing a Sudoku to find a quality that she doesn't eat, and I can't find one.
No.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
But a hide and seek game,
Yeah.
But where's the flaw? That's what we'll call it. Where's the flaw? Yeah, but anyway, this is gonna be our last phone call.
Yep. So, James got to take care of some business. We're gonna be going out to the day room for a little bit. I appreciate everybody who's been here. We'll start working on the pattern fish SoCal. Anybody who was listening, appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for spending this Sunday with us.
Yep.
I know this relationship topic is dragged on and spiraled a little bit, but we'll be sure to try to get through this as soon as possible so we can get on to some other crazy stuff.
Yeah, we can fulfill Fish Slayer's quest for prison madness. Yep.
All right.
All right, thank you guys again. James, we got a couple minutes, James, so if you want to end right now when we hang up, but I want to call you back to ask you something off the air.
Okay.
And
all
I'll
right.
talk to you later.
All right, cool, perfect. Thank you. I'll be waiting for your call.
Right, thank you.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yep. All right. Yeah, no, all right.
All right, so I want to go and thank you all for participating in the chat. Everybody that was writing up the comments, really appreciate it. Amy, Gyro Lamb, LA Analyst, Marlene, Fish Slayer SoCal, Mando from the SGV, El Iceman. And I'm just going through the list right now to see who I see. I know there's a bunch of other people on here that were participating. Well, I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to cut the stream. And life's like a candle. Once you blow it, it's lights out. And with that being said, I'm out.